the Richmond Spiders as well over there across A10 play. Their game in empty arena as well. Nick, this is, I guess, the best you could have hoped for the Fordham Rams, an empty arena on the part of Virginia Commonwealth. Hopefully that means that translates onto the 94-50 because this is a steep matchup for the team from the Bronx.
Well, VCU are undefeated here at the Siegel Center this year, 7-0, so taking away that home court advantage certainly will be beneficial for the Rams. Before tonight's game, Chaz and I got a chance to sit down with Fordham head coach Keith Ergo. Take a listen.
Nick Guzman here alongside Chaz McAdams with Fordham men's basketball head coach Keith Ergo ahead of their game against VCU on the road Wednesday night. Coach, obviously those first two losses here in the Rose Hill Gym in the A10, defense not where you want it to be. How's it looked in practice this week and trying to improve that?
It's been much better. I mean, our approach actually 2 days prior to St. Bonaventure was much better, and our half-court defense was much better against St. Bonaventure. Problem is we took bad shots and we turned the ball over and we allowed them to get out in transition, and that's where they really killed us. And then once they got up to a point where we couldn't figure, we had to speed the game up a little bit and try to do some half-court traps. You know, they had smart guards who were in a rhythm and they made us pay for it. So we've been getting better in our half-court defense. It's really all we focused on here in the last couple of practices. They've been fantastic. The approach by our players has been tremendous. They've held each other accountable. They know what we need to do. The bottom line is we got to be tougher, right? And anytime anybody's ever played Fordham, win or lose in the last 3 years, they have left our game sore for 3 to 4 days where they did not want to see us again. That's not the case these last 2 games, really the last 6 games, 6 or 8 games, quite honestly. We need to make them feel it's Fordham. We need to make sure when they play, win or lose, whether or not it's home or away, that they do not want to see us again. That's the identity we've created here in this program over the course of 3 years, and we've lost that. And that's the only thing we're focused on right now. We're not going to focus on outcomes. We got to focus on our process. We got to be the best team we can be by the end of the year. We've done that 3 years in a row, and we've been very effective come February and March. Obviously, we want to win, but we need to make sure we're getting better every single day, whether or not it's practice or game.
Obviously, Coach, part of that identity and part of being tough in that defensive mindset is transition defense. You can't let teams, especially you got VCU and Davidson, you're not going back to the Bronx in between a 5-game stretch down south. How important is not letting teams get out on and going out on a run? How important is transition defense to this Fordham squad?
It's everything. I mean, we have done a tremendous job the last several years at preventing threes. The reason being is we are tremendous in our transition defense. That comes with connectivity. That comes with being tough mentally. And we've lost that. And as a result, we're giving up way too many threes in transition when we're trying to prevent threes. In the half court, we do a tremendous job of preventing threes. We have to do a much better job, obviously, connecting with each other, making sure we're communicating. Like the other day, we didn't stop the ball. Not only did we not stop the ball, which is number one no matter what, and the reason that is there's a little lack of trust behind us. We're worried about the guy in the corner, and we're not stopping the ball. We can't do that. We got to focus and trust that someone behind me is going to rotate to the corner, and we got to make sure the ball is the most important thing, and that comes with communication. Not only did we not stop the ball, it happened to be the kid council who was on a roll. So we just gotta, we gotta, you know, they're not trying to make mistakes. They want to play as perfectly as they can, and maybe that's part of the problem. So we focused on just playing hard and together and not perfect and allowing mistakes to happen. But when you play so hard and you play with each other and for each other, a lot of times you don't even recognize the mistakes.
Thanks, Coach.
Go Rams.
I'm Chaz McAdams.
And I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
And we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, the flagship podcast of Fordham Athletics.
We'll be talking about everything from football at Moglia Stadium
to hoops at the historic Rose Hill Gym.
Discussing the ins and outs of all Ram athletes, teams, and big games.
If you want to be part of the Ramily, then listen to On the Hill from WFUV Sports.
I'm Isabella Terracini.
And I'm Barrett Spreitzer. We're two of your hosts for College Gridiron, the exclusive home for all things college football on WFUV Sports.
Join us as we break down the biggest matchups of the week, Heisman hopefuls, and college football playoff previews.
Listen in on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Hey guys, it's John Tripp from Fordham Men's Basketball. You can catch all of our games on 90.7 FM and the WFUV Sports YouTube page. And make sure to fill the hill this season as we celebrate 100 years in the Rose Hill Gym. WFUV is the home of Fordham basketball. Go Rams.
Back here inside the Siegel Center, Nick Guzman alongside Chaz McAdams, who's got finished with the national anthem. Tip-off just moments away here in Richmond, an empty arena for Fordham against VCU in the Battle of the Rams. And Fordham not in desperate need, but they would love an Atlantic 10 win under their belt, considering how conference play started for them this season. Back-to-back home losses, back-to-back blowout home losses to St. Louis and St. Bonaventure. The Fordham Rams, that is, searching for their first Atlantic 10 win of the season. We've got starting lineups for you, starting with Fordham: Jaffe Medor, Jackie Johnson, Ramad Dean, Abdu Timbila, and then Zach Riley coming into the mix, replacing Jameer Tripp. Chaz, obviously, Coach Erger looking for a little bit of a spark after the two duds against St. Louis and St. Bonaventure.
Second career start for the kid from Auckland. Zach Riley usually bringing a defensive spark plug off the bench. His energy's been everything for this Fordham Rams team. A silver lining on those clouds of gray that we've seen so far in conference play. But you love what you're seeing from Zach Riley. I love what I'm seeing out of him. Love the energy. He clearly loves to play defense, loves to go out there and guard, not afraid to shoot the long ball. Definitely what the Fordham Rams need in their starting lineup, at least for today, especially with the recent play of Jameer Tripp. You know what I mean? Since about the Bryant game when he went 0 for 8, we haven't seen much excitement out of Brooklyn's finest. So it'll be good for him to get a little mental reset, come off the bench, and figure things out.
And on the VCU side of things, they opened conference play with a close loss to the Bonnies. Melvin Council Jr. with the game-winning layup in that game, but they bounced back with a win in their second game against Loyola Chicago, both those coming on the road. So this is VCU's conference home opener here, despite there being no fans in attendance. We have a starting five for you as well. For the VCU Rams, it will be Philip Russell, Jack Clark, Max Shulga, Joe Bamasil, and Luke Bamboye. That's the five for the VCU Rams. A lot of depth on this team. A lot of guys who are coming off the bench and make the impact as well.
Absolutely. I love what I see from guys like Jeb Jackson on the wing. Love players like that. Shulga, obviously, and Bamasil, the guys that really get it done for this VCU squad. But they're just a complete basketball team. There's a reason a lot of people have them ending the A10 season as champions. There's a lot of reasons. A lot of people have them. Net ratings could go higher, possibly see some at-large bid conversations depending on how conference play goes and the strength of this conference. I put VCU on tier with Dayton, Loyola Chicago, teams like St. Bonaventure, who Fordham saw recently. Those are the teams that VCU is in competition with in the Atlantic 10.
And VCU were picked to finish first in the A10 preseason poll, although, I mean, what does that even mean anymore? The Bonnies were picked 10th, and we've seen what they've done not just in the A10, but in non-con as well so far this season. But even if they might not be the number one team in the conference, it's still a very, very talented VCU team that made it all the way to the conference championship last season in the A10 tournament, just falling short to Duquesne and losing out on that bid to the NCAAs.
Absolutely. On the court, they've done a lot. We got to talk about the A10 as a whole. Their impact off the court. We see Woj taking that first jam spot at Bonnie's with Fordham, just saw, and now VCU coming out with every player on that team scholarship-wise is going to be making 6 figures next year. Nick Guzman changing the entire game of college basketball. The A10's the place to be. Siegel Center's the place to be. Ram on ram violence. They're locking their horns. It's like we're at the top of the mountain. I'm excited.
And on the Fordham side of things, Chaz, you think about what has to change from those 2 home losses to start conference play. Well, I feel like it's defense, and more defense. You have 88 points to St. Louis and 86 to St. Bonaventure. They're last in the Atlantic 10 in opponents' points per game.
Yeah, I think we might have to be a 2-man chant of the defense.
I think so too.
It might be on us. It might be on us at this point, because that's why he put Zach Riley in the lineup, though. Jameer Tripp, not someone known for his defensive ability. Coach Urgo looking to change that. Zach Riley, someone known for his defensive ability, looking to get that spark plug off the bench into a flame in the starting lineup.
Coach Urgo really takes pride in his teams being able to play defense. He says that's Fordham's identity, is being a good, aggressive, defensive team, which they have not been this season. But the offense has been flowing maybe better than it has in previous Keith Urgo years. So now it's about being able to get the stops on that end of the floor to be able to get the offense moving on the other end.
Well, that seems to have been the recruiting tactic for Coach Keith Urgo, is picking up players. You saw Jaffe Medor, someone not known for his defense. He's turned into a strong, strong defender. You had guys like Will Richardson. You pick up Jameer Tripp, but Josh Rivera. Guys that are known for their offensive ability that Urgo wants to teach the Fordham way. Teach that hard nose, that head to the ground, that bully ball defense. Hopefully we see it pan out here in the empty, cavernous, echo-filled Siegel Arena.
When there's too much silence, Chad, it's a little bit awkward when there's too much silence around you. You wonder maybe if the people down on the court can hear what you're saying, but they can't. We're far away, up elevated.
Oh, yeah.
We're just about set to go here from the Siegel Center. Abdou Timbila is in position for the tip against Luke Bamboye, the freshman from London, England, who's come into the starting lineup in the last couple of games, providing that shot-blocking presence in the interior.
And this is going to prove to me right now whether Roma Dean is the defender we think he is. He's lining up with Shulga right now. I can see, even from this upper balcony, some verbal sparring going on. This is not going to be a nice, kind, friendly game.
Here we go from Richmond. Fordham in maroon, VCU in white. And we are underway. Bamboye wins the tip back, and Philip Russell will carry the ball ahead for VCU. In an empty Siegel Center, VCU get their first possession through Shulga at the logo. Swung to the far wing for Philip Russell. Up high, top of the key, that's Bamboye. Takes the handoff. Bamboye will drive. He got stripped as he went up with it off his knee. That's an early turnover forced by Fordham.
And that's a great defensive possession there for the Maroon Rams coming out of the tip.
20 seconds gone by, no score in the first half. Zach Riley will inbound in the backcourt. VCU showing some full court pressure here. Riley into Abdou. Jaffe Medor will come back and claim. Watched closely by Max Shulga.
Jaffe Medor's ability to break a full court press is why he's on the court right now.
Medor at the logo in the front court for Fordham. Bounce pass to the near side wing for Jackie Johnson, who'll command the offense. Screen from Timbila. Johnson from mid-range. Cash. A couple steps behind the elbow. Jackie Johnson gets Fordham on the board. It's 2-0.
I feel like every Fordham game, if you were able to bet player props, Jackie Johnson's first basket would be a -100 bet. Always scoring first.
Shulga up high for VCU. Philip Russell with it. Looks to get inside. He got bumped by either Abdou or Zach Riley. They'll call it on Abdou. First foul against Timbila.
It's not a smart play there out of 30. You know, you love to see Abdou in some drop screen action. This time having to go over based on the scout. You can't let a guy like Shulga get open on the three-point line, getting jammed up on the screen. A tough go for the big man.
Philip Russell will inbound on the near side, up high to Shulga. Watched closely by Zach Riley. Screen from Bamboye. Shulga now against Timbila straight away. Into the corner, Clark. Thought about a three. He'll drive baseline. Able to kick back out there for Russell. He'll try a long three, in and out. Rebound by Clark. Second chance for Russell. Shulga now near side wing. Gets inside on Riley, steps back, and connects from a couple feet out.
Max Shulga, bully ball. Love seeing him drop the shoulder, but remain poised, keeping his feet under him and just having that space he didn't expect in that nice little short jumper 15 feet out.
2-2, a minute 30 in here in the first half in the battle of the Rams between Fordham and VCU. Jaffe Medor in the front court for Fordham. Bounce pass for Jackie Johnson. Screen up high from Timbila. Johnson will try to straightaway three. Too strong. Rebound Bamboye. Jack Clark the other way for VCU. Shulga into the corner. Russell open for three. No good. Rebound on the far side. Going back up and in. VCU with Joe Bamasil get the putback. It's 4-2 to the VCU Rams under 2 minutes gone by here in this first half.
Those aren't the shots you want to see go up, especially that wide open three. Not the shot you need in transition, too. Got to have better communication on the defensive end.
Johnson all the way to the lane, trying to find Timbila, poked away from him. That's a steal for VCU. Shulga to Clark, backdoor. Bamasil missed the layup. Clark keeps it alive, out to the perimeter. Russell's three is short. Riley again couldn't secure the board. It'll come to Shulga again. Coach Urgo is irate at his team for not grabbing those defensive rebounds. Shulga will drive on Dean on the far side. Riley now picks him up. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Shulga spins, the fadeaway move, beautiful. Catches it over Zach Riley.
Old school, that's his shot. You know he likes that. How many opportunities did Fordham get on that side of the ball, though? Gift wrap misses out of VCU and just not able to capitalize, letting up so many offensive rebounds.
6-2 VCU, 3 minutes gone by in this first half as Jaffe Medor is fouled crossing half court. 4 offensive rebounds already for VCU, Chad.
You can't have that, especially with a Fordham team. There's been a lot of missed assignments too. We saw a missed layup in there out of Bamboye. You know what I mean? Those shots can't happen.
It'll be Jameer Tripp on the court here. Jackie Johnson checks out of the game. Tripp will inbound here on this near side in the front court for the Rams. Gets Medor at the VCU logo. Timbila, top of the key. Handoff for Medor. Medor, straightaway triple, in and out. Rebound VCU. Back the other way comes Zeb Jackson on the court for the first time. Jackson against Timbila up high. The crossover, fakes the step back three, gets inside. The feed down low, blocked away by Abdu. But they're going to call a foul. That was Christian Furman, also just on the court, who went up for it. Foul called against the Rams. They're going to get Ramad Dean for it.
Something to keep in mind here for the Rams, not letting the extra pass get off. VCU doing such a great job about having poise with the basketball. They make that first move and they get by their first defender. They know that a help defender's coming. They're so ready for the extra quick little shovel pass to the big man. That's been wide open for them all day.
First free throw is good from Christian Furman. That makes it 7-2 VCU with 16:35 to go in the first half. Furman, a guy who started all 38 games last year, but has been coming off the bench more recently this year. Second free throw off the heel, offensive rebound VCU, but Fordham able to force the turnover. Jaffe Medor back the other way for Tripp, the trailer. Into the corner again for Medor on this near side. Followed by a step back three. Instead we'll feed the corner again for Tripp. Tripp trying to back down for Dean on the near side wing. Up high again for Tripp, swung to the far side for Jaffe Medor, 10 on the shot clock for Fordham. Medor penetrates. The lob for Timbila. Couldn't go up for the shot. He's stuck on the baseline and he threw it into the backcourt. That'll be a turnover.
Just organization here out of the team from the Bronx. Communication on the defensive and offensive end. Great defense out of VCU, though. Virginia Commonwealth University stopping the ball at all times, going over on all screens.
It'll be Philip Russell, the inbound on the near side for VCU. Looked like the lob was there for Abdu by the time he came down with it, just nowhere to go with it.
Out of position.
And the pass goes into the backcourt. VCU here with Zeb Jackson will start their offense at the logo for Philip Russell. Pushed out to the far side, Bamasil. Bamasil working in the post against Medor. Kick out. That's a three from Clark. Too strong. Rebound, Josh Rivera.
A lot of quick misses here for VCU. Fordham's got to capitalize.
Medor. Handoff on this near side for Tripp. Top of the key, Matt Zona now. Zona for Rivera on the far side. double teamed in the corner, able to get in for Zona, who got free and able to lay it in with the left hand.
Great find there out of Rivera. Not known for his passing, able to recognize he's getting doubled, shots not going up, finds the big fella out of Rockland County in the paint.
That ends the 7-0 VCU run. It's now VCU 7, Fordham 4, 15-15 to go in the first half. Rivera with the active hands right in front of the Fordham bench. He forces the turnover. Swatted away, and the corner ball lands in the Fordham bench. And the Fordham Rams head into the media timeout on a positive. It's 7-4 VCU with 15-13 to go in the first half. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Back here inside the Siegel Center, Nick Guzman alongside Chaz McAdams for Fordham against VCU. VCU with a 7-4 lead over Fordham with 15-13 to go in the first half. Chaz, not the best start from Fordham, especially when you think about the second chance opportunities that they've allowed, but VCU also have not been that clinical on the offensive end, and Fordham hanging with them early.
Is VCU going to continue to miss that much is the question. 3 for 8 from the field so far, 0 for 4 from 3. A 3-point field goal yet to be made in this matchup, ram-on-ram violence. That's the big question, is how long can Fordham sustain these bad offensive possessions while VCU's doing the same? Because if we want to talk about skill of roster, I think VCU's got the edge. So they're going to start making shots. So the question for the Fordham Rams, can they capitalize on every miss VCU gives them? Fordham should easily have the lead right now.
Already 5 offensive rebounds and 6 second chance points for VCU. They've only scored 7 points in these opening 5 minutes. The other one came from the free throw line. But you mentioned the three-point shooting, 0 for 4 for VCU so far. They don't shoot the three ball that well as a group. They're third to last in the A10 at 32% from beyond the arc.
Not part of their offense.
No.
They don't hoist a lot and they don't make a lot. So you like to see them working inside. You saw Shulga there, just those 2 nice little short corner mid-ranges. So pure, so buttery. He's got a great jumper.
They might not shoot it well. Max Shulga does. He's at over 40% for his collegiate career, which is remarkable. Philip Russell also almost at 40% this season. It will be Fordham to inbound in the backcourt in front of their own bench through Jameer Tripp coming out of this media timeout.
Continued aggression here from the VCU Rams. Doing a little mirror imagery of Fordham.
Johnson has it in the backcourt, back on the floor after briefly exiting the game. Jameer Tripp on the far side wing, trying to hand off for Rivera. That's busted up. It'll come to Zona at the top of the key. Hand off for Johnson. Screen up high from Zona. Jameer Tripp now swung to the far side wing for Josh Rivera, under 10 to shoot. Driving baseline. Rivera's double team. Kick out for Zona. Followed about a 3. Now he'll take it. That's short. Rebound VCU. Will head back the other way. Zeb Jackson into the front court on this near side wing. For Shulga to Clark on the far side. Top of the key, this is Shulga against Jaffe Mador. Screen from Furman. Shulga, the crossover, driving left, backing down into the paint. Shulga, the pump, took the contact, shot short. Zona fighting for the rebound with Furman. That's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Fordham.
And you love the head-up defense. They're in a Matt Zona, going straight up, arms up. Refs are going no call. Shulga wanted it bad. That's textbook post defense. And then fighting for that defensive rebound. He's not letting up. Matt Zona knows what it takes to win basketball games.
More pressing here from VCU as Fordham gets set to inbound in the backcourt. Tripp into Rivera. Mador, watched closely by Zeb Jackson, but he'll cross the timeline here on this near side. Mador drives, top of the key. will retreat to the perimeter for Jackie Johnson on the far side wing. Screen from Zona. Johnson, top of the key, jumper off front iron. It'll come to Medor on the far side. Rivera straight away, pushed to the far side again. Medor's triple, that's cash. Jaffe Medor ties it up at 7, under 14 to go in the first half.
Love to see that out of Jaffe Medor.
Shulga across the timeline at the VCU logo. Circling to the far side. Shulga, pass deflected, stolen away by Medor. Back the other way comes Fordham. Medor, the crossover. He'll drive to the right with the right hand. Couldn't get the roll. A foul called, though. And Jaffe Medor will shoot free throws.
A lot of good contact there. Jaffe Medor, he can take over games. We saw that Manhattan loss turning into a one-possession game at the end. It wasn't anything like that. Me and you were up there in Scarsdale, I think they try to claim, even though they're really the Bronx.
Yeah.
So
it's the Bronx.
Yeah, Jaffe Medor coming in and hit 4 in a row, late game threes, just dribble pull-ups. You know what he's able to do off the ball. And when he's moving, and he's known as a facilitator, he just defers to Jackie Johnson because Jackie is that good of a scorer. But when Jaffe Medor wants to turn it up and score the basketball, there's not a lot of people in this maroon uniform that can do it better.
First free throw is good from Jaffe. That's 5 turnovers already for VCU. They haven't scored in the last 3 minutes as the arena goes dead silent for these free throws.
I know, I feel bad talking.
So do I, but that's our job, Chaz.
Yeah.
Medor goes 2 for 2 from the line. That's 9-7 Fordham now. Quickly in the front court go VCU. Jackie Johnson bumped Philip Russell, and Jackie will get called for the foul.
Don't love that there. Jackie misunderstanding an assignment on the press there, trying to catch up. Bryant knowing what's going on, just pulling the brakes on him. Can't have that. 9 players played so far for VCU.
Their depth is one of their strengths. Brandon Jennings will inbound on this near side. They got 9 guys averaging over 10 minutes a game. 13:28 to go in this first half. It's 9-7 Fordham. Brandon Jennings to inbound for VCU in the front court. Into Philip Russell. Screen up high from Furman. Russell, crossover on Rivera. He got bumped. And Josh Rivera commits the foul.
I hate that foul call. When you get blown by, right, and then the guard crosses back, but your hand's already there because you were already in the process of defending his last dribble, and he crosses into your hand.
Shulga coming off the foul into the post for Furman, got bumped by Zona. He forced to retreat. Brandon Jennings on this near side wing. Thought about a 3, went up in the air. Should have been a travel, not called. The ball comes to Zona anyway. Pushed ahead for Jackie Johnson on the far side. In the front court. 13 minutes to go in this first half. Josh Rivera, near side wing. Backing down, Rivera needs an option up high for Tripp. Again on this near side, still on the perimeter. 10 seconds to shoot for the Rams. Zona, handoff straight away. Rivera from the free throw line. His jumper's too strong. Rebound secured by VCU. Russell back the other way for Shulga. Fake the 3. Shulga drives, missed the layup. Furman the rebound, keeps the possession alive. Jackson in the corner, fake the 3. Up high for Jennings. He'll try it. Too strong. Rebound, Jackie Johnson. Back the other way for Fordham. Zona sets the screen. Jackie on the near side wing. Drives. The feed inside for Zona. Went up for it. Lost the handle. And they go to the ground with it. Last touch off Fordham, I believe it'll be VCU basketball.
Review, no? No review there. Yeah, Matt Zona struggling there down low. Want to see more pick and pop action with him rather than pick and roll. His best utility is as a non-traditional big. He can shoot over the guards that he gets switched onto instead of having to go into an already clogged paint, because you know VCU has a bunch of guys in the paint. Got to see more pick and pop action from Jackie and Zona.
9-7 Fordham, 12:08 to go in the first half. Russell for VCU at the left elbow. Up high, gets it right back. Russell looking to attack from the elbow. Shot too strong, wouldn't go. Took another carom off the rim, and VCU gets the offensive board. Russell again on the perimeter. Up high, Bamasil drives. Bamasil feed inside, that's Bamboye. He's double teamed over Abdu. Layup wouldn't go. Josh Rivera fighting for the board. It'll come for Jameer Tripp, and Fordham survived that defensive possession. Johnson the other way for Rivera. Feeds the post for Abdu Timbila. Up high, Johnson. He'll launch the triple. That's short. Timbila couldn't grab the board. Last touch off Abdu as it goes out of bounds on this near sideline. That will take us into another media timeout with 11:27 to go in the first half. The score, Fordham 9, VCU 7. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Lou Orlando.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
14 of the 15 Atlantic 10 teams in action today. Loyola Chicago up 40-32 over LaSalle at halftime. 12-3 GW versus 12-2 URI. It's GW up 24-16, about 10 minutes left to go in the first half. I think one to keep tabs on here, Dayton versus UMass. UMass is dead last in the A10, but the Dayton Flyers coming off that surprising 20-point loss against GW. Dayton's up 18-12 right now. You expect them to be at the top of the A10 when it's all said and done. And then a fun one at 8 p.m. today, 14-1 St. Bonaventure against 9-6 St. Louis. Both 2-0 in A10 plays so far. One of them will have a loss when this night is over. In the NBA, RJ Barrett back at the Garden tonight. The 8-28 Raptors visiting the New York Knicks, who are looking to put an end to a 3-game skid. 7:30 p.m. tip. WFUV's Owen Kelty live coverage on Twitter. And then the Nets hosting the Pistons at Barclays. Kurt Sippel making his Brooklyn Nets WFUV Nets coverage debut. That's pretty cool. We want to wish health and safety to everyone in Los Angeles right now. Fires spreading through LA. Strong winds making that very hard to quell those fires. The NHL has postponed the LA Kings game against the Calgary Flames tonight. The NFL is monitoring Monday's Rams-Vikings wildcard game. That's going to be at SoFi Stadium in California. Phoenix would be the alternate location if the NFL is forced to move the game away from California. With the one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Lou Orlando. Back to the guys in Virginia.
Thanks, Lou. You know, you can tell that's the guy who's done a couple updates in his day.
Dude,
it's professionally done from Lou Orlando.
Lou updates Orlando.
It's his middle name.
That's his middle name.
Back here inside the Siegel Center, Nick Guzman alongside Chaz McAdams. The fanless Siegel Center, if you're just joining us, because of the water situation in the city of Richmond, no fans allowed for this game at VCU. Fordham with a 9-7 lead over VCU, 11:27 to go in this first half. We've talked so much about how Fordham have struggled defensively this season. So far, VCU from the field, 3 of 13, 0 of 5 from deep. Offensive rebounds, though, 8 already for VCU, so Fordham has to clean that up. But it's been a good defensive effort so far.
Absolutely. The defense is there, but part of defense is your rebounding.
Yes.
And it's just about tagging someone. You know, it's not about how you jump up in the air. If you box out enough, you can let the ball hit the ground. If I'm Coach Urgo, I'd rather have the ball hit the ground than have a VCU guy go up and get it for the third time.
VCU haven't scored in over 5 minutes. They're 0 for their last 6 from the field, 1 for their last 9. Philip Russell has it straight away for VCU. Watched closely by Jackie Johnson. Around the screen, that's Shulga. That's his shot, and he buries it. Max Shulga knocks down the 3, and VCU back on top 10-9.
The only player on this VCU team that seems to not be changed by this empty arena.
Tripp was looking for Riley. He throws it away. That's Josh Rivera, rather, who threw the ball away. That's a turnover. VCU with it. Into the post. Bamboye, stolen away by Josh Rivera, who redeems himself immediately. 2-on-1. Rivera goes all the way, got bumped on his way to the rim, and Josh Rivera will shoot 2 free throws.
Love to see that defense out of Josh Rivera. You know what I mean? There was a case to be made. Obviously, Josh coming off of those back spasms, maybe not. But when Tripp's starting spot was in jeopardy, Josh was stringing together a few good games. But defense is so important to Coach Keith Urgo, which is why I think he made the decision to start Riley over Rivera. But you love to see Josh coming up with some steals. And I think on that turnover, Zach Riley going for the ball got bumped a little bit by the guard there in Clark. So it remains to be seen, but a lot of good play out of Rivera so far. Love what I've seen from number 5.
And Josh gets his first free throw to roll down. It's been a problem for him throughout his career, just 40% on the year so far, but he makes the first one. Josh missed the last game against St. Bonaventure, experienced back spasms in the warm-up, decided not to give it a go. And Fordham definitely missed him in that loss. Second free throw from Rivera is also good. 2 for 2 from the line for Josh Rivera. 11-10 Fordham, 10:45 to go in the first half.
Empty arena.
Good point. That's actually a great point. Max Shulga the other way for VCU on the far side wing. Backing down Jackie Johnson. Coming around the screen. The 3 from Russell, no good. Johnson the rebound. One right back by Shulga. Shulga in the paint. Russell again. That time he connects on the 3. 13-11 VCU. Tripp immediately across the timeline. Will slow things down now. Tripp the crossover, gets inside, underneath. Layup hit the bottom of the rim against Joe Bamasil, and then that's going to be a foul called on Jameer Tripp.
Frantic coast-to-coast play there out of Brooklyn's finest. Tripp coming up with the ball, looking to push as hard as he can. He wants to make up for that blown defensive possession. Fordham now down 2, going from down 2 when they were up 1. You just hate to see Jameer Tripp not rewarded for that, especially that defensive resilience. Great block there from Bamasil, though. Tough go at it from Jameer Tripp.
So VCU basketball, Shulga across the timeline to this near side wing for Zeb Jackson. Screen up high from Clark. Jackson handoff on the far side for Shulga. Shulga inside, beautiful feed. Bamboye slams it down. Nice find for Max Shulga, and the finish to match from the freshman.
Unnecessary double there out of Abdu on the ball.
14-11 VCU. Jackie Johnson beats the press across the timeline to the far side corner for Jameer Tripp. Feeding the post for Abdu against Bamboye. Abdu fighting his way inside. The hook shot goes with the right hand. Strong move there from Abdu Timbila. 14-13 VCU, 9:30 to go in the first half. Max Shulga on the far side wing. Inside for Bamboye to the near side corner. Jackson will try the 3, nowhere close. And Jackie Johnson with the rebound. Jackie the other way for the Rams. Crossover into the corner for Riley. Fakes the 3. Driving baseline. Kicked out. Near side wing. Jameer Tripp. His 3 no good. They go up for the rebound secured by Bamboye. Shulga into the front court. Inside Bamboye. Looking backdoor for Clark. Stolen away by Jackie Johnson. That play happened in slow motion. Jackie with the steal. The lob up ahead was a floater that hit off back iron as Abdu came in for the lob attempt. It never came. VCU in the front court. 8:43 to go in the first half. VCU 14, Fordham 13. Zeb Jackson on the near side wing against Abdu Timbila. Jackson drives past Abdu, hangs in the air, and gets it to go from the right elbow.
That's the switch that VCU's been looking for all day. Get Abdu out on the perimeter, make him uncomfortable, get your fast guards on him, and just blow by, hit the midi.
16-13 VCU, 8:20 to go in the first half. Zach Riley just narrowly avoided the turnover, got it to Johnson, now Fordham with numbers, and Jackie Johnson is fouled. VCU very aggressive on defense, hunting for those steals.
Zach Riley making the right play. Heads up action, you love to see it.
8:14 to go in the first half. VCU 16, Fordham 13. And Fordham will inbound underneath the basket in the front court.
Big bucket here to keep it a one-possession game.
VCU 11-4 overall, 1-1 in the Atlantic 10. Fordham 8-7 and 0-2. The inbound to Jaffe Mador, the far side corner, backing down into the paint against Shulga. Poked away from him by Shulga. It'll come right to Tripp on the perimeter. Tripp drives inside. The kick out for Johnson, and they're going to say Jameer Tripp traveled as he drove.
Hate that out of Jameer Tripp. He's passing out of it. He gets caught up a little bit on that. Aggressive. I think the VCU weight room deserves a lot of credit for them staying in this game so far. A lot of strong plays. That's how you get those offensive rebounds. That's how you don't let Fordham get any of their offensive rebounds. Only 1 on the day so far.
Zeb Jackson carrying the ball ahead for VCU. Sets up the offense at the logo. The screen up high from Christian Furman. Into the corner for Shulga on the far side. Up high again. This is Jackson. Driving on Jackie Johnson to the perimeter. That's an open 3 in and out. Timbila couldn't grab the rebound, but Jackie Johnson will. Michael Bell on the floor for the first time. Missed the open triple. Jackie Johnson up high. Gets the screen from Timbila. Launches the 3 and buries it. Jackie Johnson ties it up at 16 with 7:25 to go in the first half.
He is unreal. Jackie Johnson taking shots I would barely dream of.
Jackson at the logo. Screen up high from Furman. Miscommunication on defense. Jackson missed the 3, though. Tripp fighting for the board. He gets it and is fouled in transition by Jackson.
Bodies hitting the deck like they're going against cement walls. I'm telling you, this VCU team's got lead in their pockets or something. The way I've not seen one VCU player move. You normally see a guy like Abdu Timbila get it on the block, whether or not it's a double. You saw him make that baby hook, but he's able to get some pound dribbles in. He hasn't even attempted one so far yet because every time he goes to pound dribble in, the VCU guys aren't getting moved at all. Guys like Bamboye, even Bamasil down low, not letting anything up.
They are a very strong and aggressive defensive team, which we've been seeing out there so far. VCU 16, Fordham 16 with 7:07 to go in the first half. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin. We're two of your hosts for NFL Friday, WFUV Sports' exclusive NFL podcast.
From breaking down the weekly slate to fantasy football pickups, we've got you covered on all things around the NFL.
Stay tuned for our hosts' weekly picks as they compete against each other all season long.
Football is here, and so is NFL Friday.
Back here inside the Siegel Center, somewhere along the lines, VCU has gotten another point, and it's 17-16 VCU with 7:07 to go in the first half. So VCU with a narrow 1-point advantage. Nick Guzman here alongside Chaz McAdams in this empty arena. Feels extra cavernous when there's not a ton of screaming VCU fans all around, and I think Fordham have used that to their advantage because there isn't really any energy in the building, and early on, VCU seem like they've taken that hit without the crowd.
Yeah, Fordham a good squad because they're young, little scrappy team, great at creating their own energy. VCU playing 10 players, and we're not even at, we're at the under 8 media. Like VCU is trying to go deep into their bench. No one really hitting so far. Fordham with only 8 so far, but VCU 2 for 11 from beyond the arc. Their shots just not falling, shooting at a volume that you don't see a lot out of Virginia Commonwealth University. Maybe that's a response out of Ryan Odom for Fordham's lack of a three-point defense. But the fact that VCU has been shooting as abysmally as they have and Fordham is still down 1 point is a testament to the Rams' inability to get things going through an offensive possession.
And just to clarify, that extra point came on the Russell three-pointer after that offensive rebound from the corner. Initially ruled a 2, actually deemed to be a 3. So that's where the scoring comes in. It's 17-16 VCU, 7:07 to go in the first half. Rivera's inbound, batted out of bounds into the sideline. Fordham will do it again. But VCU are unrelenting on the pressure from these dead ball situations.
I mean, yeah, when you're running 10 guys comfortably, you can press all you want when you have fresh legs.
Rivera again will inbound. This time goes to the backcourt for Jackie Johnson. The VCU team first in the conference in block shots, third in opponent field goal percentage. Really a good defensive unit. Fordham going to have to work hard on offense to try to break through. Medor top of the key for Jackie Johnson on the near side wing. Tambila sets the screen. Johnson escapes inside. Rivera straight away. Thought about the 3. Instead will drive. Hop step. High off the glass. He banks it in. Beautiful move from Josh Rivera. Fordham back on top.
Taking it old school, playing off 2. You love to see him playing to elevate Josh Rivera, one of the best athletes in this conference.
Furman. Hand up on the perimeter. This is Billups. Looking for Shoga. Almost broken up by Medor. Able to save it to Furman. VCU settling things down on the perimeter. Furman, not the guy who they want to have the ball. It'll come outside for a 3. Too strong. Rebound, Ramad Dean. Jackie Johnson the other way for Fordham. He'll launch the long triple off front iron. Rebound by Furman. Back the other way comes VCU. On the far side. Down low. Kicked out for Shoga. He'll launch the 3. Fading away. Couldn't get it to go. Off the iron and out. Jackie Johnson, the rebound. Johnson drives. He fell. No foul called. Rivera in the corner picks it up. He'll drive. Can't get the roll. Abdu couldn't clean it up either. His putback attempt, no good. She'll go the other way for VCU. Bounce pass inside. Michael Bell with the left hand. 19-18 VCU. 5:32 to go in the first half. Abdu for Medor, able to cross the timeline. Medor will keep going. Takes the bumps. No foul called. Medor will kick into the corner for Rivera. Up high again for Dean, straight away. Fakes the triple. Jackie Johnson has it now at the logo for Fordham. 15 on the shot clock. Johnson attacks from the elbow with the left hand, too strong. Dean swatted at the rebound. It goes into the VCU bench, and Fordham will keep it. Last touch off of VCU. Fordham will keep possession here.
Great play out there from the Rams. You love to see the aggression from Jackie Johnson. If anyone's going to get this team into scoring, it's going to be him. Zach Riley coming into the game. This Fordham team is starting to click on all cylinders. Still not able to capitalize on the abysmal three-point shooting from VCU.
2 for 13 for VCU from beyond the arc. That's 15%. Fordham with possession here in the front court. Riley inbounds to Medor at the logo. Bounce pass to Josh Rivera, backing down at the right elbow. Up high again for Medor. Medor. Screen from Zona, attacks from the free throw line. His jumper, no good, too strong. Rebound VCU coming back the other way. That's going to be a travel in transition. They get that against Furman.
It was late on the ref. I didn't know if he was calling that. He came over. He was like a third strike up. He came over to make the call and then hit the wheel motion with his hands.
Correction, that's Joe Bamasil who traveled there in transition for VCU. That's another turnover for the VCU Rams. That's 9 so far. Jaffe Medor across the timeline, 4:40 to go in the first half. The handoff busted up. It's ruled to have touched Zach Riley last. It's a simple handoff on the perimeter from Medor to Riley. But again, aggressive defense there from VCU. This time it's Philip Russell. It's another turnover for the Rams.
That's what's keeping him in this game. VCU unrelenting on the defensive end.
Up high. VCU with it here. Billups. Now for Bamasil, he'll drive. Up high, Billups again. Open for three. Too strong. Medor the rebound. An open look there for Alfonso Billups, and he just missed it. Dean from the near side wing in transition off the heel. Matt Zona batted at the rebound. Fordham keeps it alive. Medor attacks. Far side corner. Riley's triple. No good either. Rebound VCU through Zeb Jackson. Billups the other way. 4 minutes to go in the first half. VCU by 1. Bell looking to drive. Up high again. Into the corner. Bamasil will drive on Dean. No good. Ramad Dean the rebound. Strong one-on-one defense there from Ramad against a talented offensive player in Bamasil. Medor has it in the front court for Fordham. 3:37 to go in the first half. Still 19-18 VCU. A low-scoring affair here from Richmond. Riley the screen up high. Medor inside with the right hand blocked away by Furman. Last touch off of Christian Furman. And the ball will go out of bounds on the baseline. It'll be Fordham ball when we come back. With 3:25 to go in the first half, it's VCU 19, Fordham 18. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Lou Orlando.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
A10 men's hoops, GW up by 15 on URI. That's supposed to be a close one. 12-3 GW, 12-2 URI. But it's GW with the big 15-point lead. How about Richmond, a 4-point lead on George Mason? Richmond 7-8, George Mason 10-5. And then we got St. Joe's and Duquesne. That's a close one, but it's the underdog with the lead there as well. Duquesne 32, St. Joe's 26. St. Joe's comes in at 10-5. Duquesne comes in at 6-9, so that would be a major upset to keep an eye on as well. All those games still in the first half. Loyola Chicago versus LaSalle, that one's into the second half. Ramblers up 50-41 at the time of play. Quiet day on the ice just 3 games after Kings Flames canceled due to fires in LA. But a note from Rangers practice, Philip Hedl did not skate this morning. He was ruled out of the third period last night in New York's 5-4 overtime loss to Dallas. Coach Peter Laviolette would not specify beyond upper body injury, but obviously alarm bells sound. Hedl's got an extensive history with concussions. As of now, looking like Arthur Kaliev would make his Blue Shirts debut tomorrow in the Garden against the Devils. Rangers claim the former 33rd overall pick from the Kings on Sunday. Semifinals of college football playoffs start tomorrow. NFL playoffs start on Saturday. We'll get to all of those in the second half with the one-on-one scoreboard update. Lou Orlando.
Nick Guzman, Chaz McAdams back here inside the Siegel Center. VCU with a 19-18 lead over Fordham with 3:25 to go in the first half. An empty Siegel Center due to the ongoing water crisis in the city of Richmond. But Chaz, it's been an offensive slog here so far for both teams. Fordham shooting just 25% from the field, VCU 30%. Fordham 0 from their last 9 from the field, VCU 1 for their last 7. We can go on and on and on. Defense has reigned supreme here so far at the Siegel Center.
And usually in games like that, I would be like, I'm favoring Fordham. But this year, Coach Ergo said it, and when we got to talk to him yesterday, that's just not the case anymore for this Fordham squad. Looking to get back into their definition of Fordham basketball.
A little bit of a welcome change of a game considering what happened against St. Bonaventure and St. Louis, where Fordham couldn't get any stops. Now they've been getting those stops, now it's just about turning them into points on the other end. Zona will inbound underneath the basket in the front court coming out of immediate timeout. Jaffe Medor has it up high for Fordham. At the free throw line, driving inside, working in the post against Bamasil, got some separation and gets the roll off front iron. Strong move from Jaffe Medor, Fordham on top by 1 with 3:10 to go in the second half, or first half rather.
Shows Jaffe Medor's strength, able to muscle it in there.
Alfonso Billups. This is Terrence Hill rather up high with it for Russell coming around the screen. For Hill, he'll launch the 3, that's short, another miss from VCU. Jaffe Medor the rebound. Into the front court, Medor driving baseline, circles around. Will cut back, feed Zona inside for the open lay. Fordham by 3, 22-19. 2:45 to go in the first half.
Let Jaffe Medor run your offense. So pretty off the dribble.
Russell the other way for VCU, who are now shooting just 2 of 15 from beyond the arc. Russell working to the far side. Hill will drive on Zona. Got it, and the foul. Great move there from Terrence Hill Jr. to take the contact from Zona and finish anyway. He'll go to the free throw line with a chance to tie.
Zona looking to go no foul there. Ergo extremely upset. Says Zona was hands up there. I agree. Ref saying he turned into him, which maintained the foul and won. Zona gets a lot of defensive flack. That's not going to help with the narrative.
Terrence Hill, a guy who didn't play versus the Bonnies and only played 1 minute against Loyola Chicago. He's been in and out of the rotation here of late, making his presence felt on that and one. Gets the free throw to go as well, and we are all tied up at 22 with 2:28 to go in the first half.
And what I want to see more from the Fordham Rams to close out this half is just the shot selection on the offensive end and obviously the defensive rebounding.
Josh Rivera to inbound again, VCU in their full court press. Medor has it in the backcourt. A swipe from Philip Russell. Medor will accelerate across the timeline. And Russell handsy with him. Jaffe doesn't like it, but he's at the logo here for Fordham. Top of the key, Josh Rivera will rise from mid-range, too strong. Clearing in for the rebound is Zeb Jackson to Shulga. The transition 3, he fakes. He'll shoot anyway, in and out. Ramad Dean couldn't grab the rebound. Shulga pushes out to the far side. Up high, Bamasil gets inside. Great ball movement here from VCU, but it's still on the perimeter through Zeb Jackson. 9 seconds to shoot. Jackson on the far side wing. Goes baseline on Riley. He'll fade away. Beautiful shot from Zeb Jackson. VCU have a 2-point lead with 1:40 to go in the first half. Thrown away by Rivera, but they call a foul. I believe it's going to be on Russell, who's been physical in that press, but Rivera threw that ball to nobody. He's going to check out of the game because of it.
Dean, that's on Dean. Not having a head on the ball. He had the beat on his guy, got out of position. That's not on Josh Rivera at all. That's a Ramad Dean sub there.
Anyway, Rivera is out, Tripp is in. Tripp will inbound in the backcourt. More full court pressure from VCU. Into Jaffe Medor. Zeb Jackson watching him. As Medor will cross the timeline. Medor driving against Jackson. That's going to be a foul.
Late fouls here. Possibly maybe some Fordham one-on-one action. Be huge for the Rams.
That's the 7th team foul against VCU. So, yep, we'll shoot 1-1 here with Fordham's best free throw shooter in Jaffe Medor. Shade under 84% this year, something he does so well.
Jaffe Medor, again, he's gets a lot of bad rap, inefficient scoring numbers throughout his whole career. His career has never been an efficient guy, but his ability to facilitate at the highest level, coming from UTSA in that smaller conference and going up to a Fordham, has just been massive for him.
1-on-1 opportunity here for Jaffe. Makes the front half. Fordham back within 1. Medor this year averaging a shade over 10 points per game, 3.6 assists, 2.2 rebounds. That field goal percentage under 40%, but what he does passing, what he does for you defensively, that's where the value lies with Jaffe Medor, and right here at the free throw line. Off front rim and out. Announcer's jinx. Christian Furman the rebound. Shulga will carry ahead for VCU. 1:24 to go in the first half. VCU by 1. Touch pass inside for Furman. He's triple team stolen away by Fordham. Zach Riley has it for the Rams. Jaffe Medor up high, will drive. Medor gets inside, couldn't finish at the rim. Furman was right there to contest. Shulga leading the counter. He's bumped on his way to the basket. No shot as his layup went in. That's going to be a foul called against Matt Zona.
Real issue here for the Fordham Rams. 3 assists on their 23 points. VCU not doing much better with 5, but a lot of their points coming off second chance buckets. For Fordham, 3 assists on very few second chance points means that it's a lot of isolation ball, not using your team chemistry to your advantage. That's not a recipe for successful basketball.
1-1 here for Max Shulga. Second year at VCU, was first team All-Atlantic 10 last season. Free throw off the heel, rebound Jameer Tripp. Huge miss there from Shulga. Under a minute to play in the first half. It's VCU 24, Fordham 23, as Jaffe Medor has the ball at the VCU logo. Handoff on the far side wing for Tripp. Top of the key, Timbila. Hands off again for Medor. On the far side wing, he'll launch the 3. No good. Off front rim. Rebound VCU back the other way through Russell. Jackson in the corner for Shulga. Up high again for Russell. Swung to the near side wing. Bamasil off the heel. Jaffe Medor the rebound. 30 on the game clock, 28 on the shot clock. Medor crosses the timeline and Fordham will call a timeout. As they called the timeout, Russell came up and swatted the ball away.
Nothing easy.
If that was me, I might have taken offense to it.
Oh, yeah. I do personally.
So it's 24-23 VCU here with 25.9 to go in the first half. Chaz, this has been so unlike any Fordham game we've seen so far this season.
Any basketball game I've seen so far this year.
What do you think about in years past, this kind of slog defensive effort is kind of Fordham's bread and butter in previous years, where It's just about, keeping things stalled on the defensive end and relying on your talent on offense to be able to win these games for you.
I'm very interested to hear what Coach Keith Urgo has to say about that, because that's what he said. He said, we always can go out. That's what he said to us yesterday. It's so easy for us to go out and score. We're always doing that. We're just not getting the stops. Now, what's Fordham doing? They're getting the stops. A lot of terrible misses from VCU so far. 2 for 17 from 3. My gosh.
Fordham 2 for 11. So that's combined, 4 for 28 from deep so far here in Richmond?
Yes.
So Fordham will inbound here. There's a second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Jameer Tripp will inbound in front of the VCU bench on the far side. Tripp into Jackie Johnson. And he'll hold here up high. Jackie, the leading scorer in the Atlantic 10 coming into today at over 18 points per game. Had 21 in that game against the Bonnies last time out. 10 seconds to go. 7 on the shot clock. Jackie needs to attack here. On the far side against Shulga. 3 seconds. 2 on the shot clock. Johnson gets stripped. Just not a good possession as the shot clock expires. No one else touched the ball in that possession for Fordham.
You see that so many times in situations like that for Fordham. I don't even know what the play call is. It seems like Jackie's just going there to go get a bucket and everyone else get out of the way. Not successful so far. VCU looking to draw something up here, though. 1.8 seconds. We could be looking at some creative here out of Ryan Odom.
Yeah, Odom calls the timeout. He'll draw something up. This is Odom's second year here at VCU, taking over from Mike Rhodes, who's now in charge over at Penn State. Really overhauled the program last year, and they still made it to that final of the Atlantic 10 tournament, that championship game. Duquesne eventually reigning victorious, but a lot of expectations for this VCU team this year, picked to finish first in the Atlantic 10, and so far Fordham have hung with them punch for punch.
Bar for bar, Nick Guzman, and the lack of capitalization, let's call it on both ends. VCU, we haven't really talked about that whole narrative. If I'm VCU faithful, I'm very frustrated the fact that Fordham can't seem to buy a bucket or not get a really sloppy turnover. You just saw that shot clock violation from Jackie Johnson third.
Terrible
what is
possession.
That? Terrible possession. And you're 2 for 17 from 3. unsuccessful basketball.
So 1.8 to go. Russell will inbound underneath his own basket. The long pass up ahead, tipped by Shulga. The three, no good at the horn. It was an open shot on the wing. It wouldn't go. And 24-23 is the score at the halftime break. Joe Bamasil, not sure who was the one who shot that three-pointer on the far side, but it was an open look after the touch pass from Shulga. But it was Billups. There you go. But a defensive showdown here in Richmond between both Fordham and VCU. It's 24-23 at the halftime break, and we'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one halftime report with Grace McCarran.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome into halftime of the Fordham Rams visiting the VCU Rams. Fordham currently trailing VCU by 1 point. VCU up in this one 24-23. So far, fairly evenly matched competition between the two teams. I'm joined by my co-host, Lou Orlando. I think one of the big themes we saw, Lou, in the first half was not a lot of capitalization on either end. Nick and Chaz were talking about that a little towards the end of the half. What did you think of that? What did you see specifics-wise on that end?
I mean, it's a close game, but not in the way that you would expect at all. And I like that that's where you're going to key in on right away, because for me, I look at sloppy play on both sides, 8 turnovers for Fordham, 10 for VCU, and the points off of turnovers are nowhere near where you would need them to be or want them to be. You hear Coach Ergo talk about that a lot when he sees, all right, we have 10 turnovers. He wants to see a certain amount of points off of turnovers. Fordham has forced 10 turnovers, and they only have 9 points off of turnovers. Coach Ergo is not going to be thrilled of that. On the other side, VCU has forced 8 turnovers. They only have 5 points off of turnovers. These are two teams that are athletic, that can run, can really excel in transition, and for whatever reason, this has just become a very slow, mucked-up game, and I don't think that's what anyone expected. VCU is one of the premier offenses in the A-10, and Fordham, for all their warts, prior to A-10 play, had been electric offensively, and they really haven't been able to figure it out defensively. For me, the big question is this more what Fordham's doing defensively, or kind of the other thing that I fear it might be, which is I think VCU just had a really bad half offensively, and I'm not sure that's going to ring true in the second half.
Yeah, you mentioned the lack of offensive performance on both sides. VCU just 2 for 18 from beyond the arc, pretty abysmal performance there. What does this say, the fact that Fordham is down a point, VCU can't get anything going on offense either? What does this say? You addressed it a little bit just now, but what does this say about Fordham's offensive production overall?
I mean, it's nowhere near where you'd want it to be, and I mean, listen, credit to Jaffe Medor, who I thought was the one bright spot offensively. I'll give credit to Josh Rivera as well. I actually thought he had a couple nice plays, and it's pivotal to get him back from injury. For Jackie Johnson III, 5 points, 2 of 8 from the field at halftime. This is a game, and this is a half that you look at and you go, we could have the lead, we should have the lead, frankly, the way that VCU's been playing. And I don't even want to say it's a game where Fordham's sinking to VCU's level. I don't think either team is sinking to the level of someone, and VCU is a phenomenal team. But Fordham, and you heard Nick and Chaz talk about it, they just never looked that great offensively. They don't look like they're playing great in their team sets. They're not getting good enough ball movement. They're playing too much one-on-one basketball. And that final possession where you have 28 seconds left, you know that you want the ball in the hands of Jackie Johnson, and that possession just goes nowhere. For Nick and Chaz to talk about how ugly that last possession was, that's kind of how I feel about Fordham offensively a lot in this game. I think they have, the bright spots, or when they're able to get the openings inside and they're able to get Zona rolling off of a screen down low for an easy layup, or they're able to feed Timbila, or they're able to get Josh Rivera down low, but there's too many plays that just get lost because of bad turnovers, unforced turnovers, careless with the ball. I mean, I saw a lot of carelessness in the first half. So more than anything else, I think Fordham is lucky to be down 1 against the A-10 preseason favorites at halftime. But hey, that's the situation you're in, and it's no guarantee that VCU comes out at halftime and they completely turn it on. But I mean, we've followed all season long that Fordham's had slow starts in the second half. This is the one time you can't have a slow start. You're in this game. You have a chance finally to get the upset victory you've been looking for. It's been really a bad start to conference play, and that said, it's a gauntlet of a start to A-10 play. There's so many good teams you've had to go up against. St. Louis feels like they've woken back up. Bonaventure might be the best team in the A-10, and now you have this road trip against two other teams that might say, hey, we're the best team in the A-10 in VCU and Davidson. You feel like if you could just take one of those games before you get back home and people get back to the stands, you'd be in a good spot. I mean, this is the chance right here. Down one against the preseason favorites, but you have to come out and do something different, at least on the offensive end, than what you were doing in the first half.
Yeah, Fordham is still looking for their first conference win of the season. VCU at 11-4 on the entire season, 1-1 in conference play. Fordham is 8-7 and 0-2 in conference play, having lost to St. Louis and St. Bonaventure past two games. We talked a little about that ugly last possession. Also, definitely not the way you want to go into halftime. Surely the vibe in the locker room is probably not very positive right now. But Lou, to close us out here, what do you think Fordham can do in the second half to turn on the Jets a little bit? There's one quick point actually I'd like to touch on. No fans at VCU because of the water outage in Richmond. How do you think that impacts both teams' performances, and what do you need to see from Fordham in the second half to get back in this thing?
Well, I'm glad you brought up the no fans. I think that's massive. VCU is one of the larger fan bases in the A-10 when it comes to NIL funding and alumni support. They're up there with the best of them. There's a reason they perennially compete with the Daytons of the world, the top of the A-10. It's because if you've been to the Siegel Center, it's a beautiful arena. They have fantastic facilities, and they have a fan base that is behind their program because they have a history, really on the men's and women's side, of just continued and consistent excellence. And I think this would have been a game that, even though it's still probably over their Christmas break, you would see a fan contingent. There are enough locals in Richmond, Virginia that would identify themselves as VCU fans. There are enough students that go there that are local that would have showed out to this game, that would have made it enemy territory. It's a storyline when you go into the Siegel Center and you have to play VCU. To have no fans there, I mean, if you think back to the COVID year and you talk to some of the players I got to talk to some of the Fordham kids that played during the COVID year, it's eerie and it's different, man. I think you can hear it in this broadcast when it's funny when you hear the free throws and Nick and Chaz kind of hush up because they kind of feel like everyone can hear them, but that's the truth. You can hear everything when there's no fans in the stands, and it's just a different feel. You don't get maybe as amped up or as juvenated, as energized, and maybe that's contributed to the play that we've seen from both sides. I don't feel like either side is particularly sharp, and this is a VCU team that is used to playing in front of big home crowds. I tell you what, there aren't too many games they've played this year where they come out at halftime shooting 31% from the field and 2 of 18 from three. So I think it's affected VCU, and I think it's probably allowed Fordham to hang in this game, because if you just said, blindfold me and said, hey, going into halftime, Fordham's down 1 against VCU, you take that any day of the week and you go, oh wow, that's a surprise. I'm not sure I expected that. What do the Rams need to do in the second half? I think they're playing better defensively. I do think there is something to what Coach Ergo said, which is their half-court defense has not been awful the last 2 games. They've just been allowing so much on the offensive end that they really haven't been able to play half-court as much as they'd like. They haven't been able to run in transition offensively as much as they like. Whether it's through their own efforts or just VCU struggling, well, they've gotten a lot of stops defensively. You need to cut down on the offensive rebounds. That's a category that Fordham should win the offensive board battle every single game. But, you need to see more, I think, on the offensive end. To me, I think you play similarly to what you did defensively in the first half, you're going to be okay. You need to play way smoother on the offensive end. I think you need to get better ball movement. You might need to get more creative with your sets. You'd like to find a way to get Jackie Johnson a bit more involved. You're curious, can you get the bigs more involved? I thought both plays that they set up for Zona that ended up with points down there, I thought both of those were pretty solid. Can we get Tim Bila a little more involved? And it's third straight game in conference play where Jameer Tripp's pretty quiet, and I feel like he's a non-factor from a playmaking perspective. It's nice to see Jaffe Medor step up and fill that void, but I expect Jackie Johnson to be the elite playmaker that he is in the second half. I expect Medor to continue to have a pretty solid half number 2. Can Jameer Tripp turn it on? Because when he's at his best, I don't think it's a coincidence that Fordham had the 5-game winning streak when he was scoring seemingly at will.
Well, you're looking at the rest of the A10 here. Fordham is towards the bottom at the moment. It's still early. It's the third game of conference play, but you have to wonder at what point does Fordham need to start stringing these wins together. They're still looking for their first conference win. Do you think that will play a role?
I think there's pressure, and I thought it was curious that Coach Ergo hit Nick and Chaz with we're less focused. I'm not quoting him directly here, but essentially paraphrasing, less focused on the results at this point and more focused on the process. But I think you're lying in that room if you don't feel the pressure of, Coach Ergo says it all the time in press conferences, and we know he says it to the team. The A10's good, man. Coach Ergo is one of the A10's biggest supporters when it comes to, it's a multi-bid league. It doesn't get the respect it deserves. And for a Fordham team, there's not too many teams that you can look at in the A10 and go, we are clearly better than. We can go in and just cakewalk through this game. There really aren't that many teams. There might not be a single team that Fordham can go in and cakewalk through. I also think when the Rams are at their best, they feel like they should be able to compete with just about anyone in the A10. I'm not sure you can believe that at this point, coming off a back-to-back 20-point losses against St. Louis and against Bonaventure. I do believe that the pressure's on a little bit. I really think if the Rams want to be competitive in A10 play, you have to take at least one win from these first 4 games. You drop the first 2, so now it's, all right, VCU or Davidson, this might be your best chance. Empty arena, VCU is struggling. Go out there and surprise a lot of people in the A10, and you know what? Not for nothing. As it stands right now, this is Fordham's only quad 1 game the rest of the way, and it would just be their second of the year. St. John's is a quad 1 game, and now here you are on the road against a VCU team that's top 75 in the net. You might not get another quad 1 game, especially if Dayton doesn't turn it on. This might be your last. So it's really your last big chance to prove it to the league. Hey, we're here, we're ready to compete, and you have a golden opportunity to do that.
Well, we're going to have to see what happens in the second half of this tilt. Fordham at VCU. VCU currently up 1 point with a score of 24-23. That will do it for our halftime show. We're going to send it back to Nick Guzman and Chaz McAdams in Richmond, Virginia for the second half.
Hey guys, it's Jamir Tripp from Fordham Men's Basketball. You can catch all of our games on 90.7 FM and the WFUV Sports YouTube page. And make sure to fill the hill this season as we celebrate 100 years in the Rose Hill Gym. WFUV is the home of Fordham basketball. Go Rams.
Nick Guzman here alongside Chaz McAdams back inside the Siegel Center. About 2.5 minutes away from the start of the second half between Fordham and VCU. VCU with a narrow 24-23 lead over Fordham. Fordham come into this one at 0-2 in Atlantic 10 play, 2 blowout losses against St. Louis and St. Bonaventure. Chaz, where the Rams really couldn't stop anything that either of those teams were doing on offense, and all of a sudden in front of us tonight we have a defensive slog, both teams shooting around 30% and a little bit under in favor for Fordham.
Yeah, Fordham, again, not able to capitalize on those misses, but you could say the same thing for VCU, not capitalizing on Fordham's lack of capitalization. I think at the end of the day we can go back and forth, who's not maintaining, who's not capitalizing. It's just a defensive slugfest. It's Ergo ball.
And you can, try to theorize about why we're in a game like this. Who's not playing up to their potential? Is this Fordham finally doing what they're supposed to be doing on defense? Is this VCU having a really, really poor shooting night? Reality is you're in this game anyway, and it's a 1-point game no matter how you got here.
Right.
Fordham are going to have to find a way to claw across the finish line. But you think about all the other outside factors. There's no crowd here. You think about if VCU were to make a 3, that would get the crowd back into it, and then maybe they feel the energy. In an empty gym like this, there's nothing. It's awkward to broadcast. It's awkward, I'm sure, as a player when there's just no outside noise.
Yeah, I'm of the sound mind that there's no way that Fordham's in this spot if it's a packed Siegel Center. I think it's just a fact. Like, these fans also get rowdy. Fordham, a team that's able to create their own energy, VCU hasn't had to do that. Fordham's had to create their own energy at the Rose Hill Gym. A lot remains to be seen in the second half of the Rams. I'm excited. And when I say the Rams, I mean both.
You mean both. And for Fordham on offense, it's been a slog, as we mentioned, but Jaffe Medor with 8 points on 2 of 8 shooting. Jackie Johnson with 5, also on 2 of 8 shooting. Matt Zona chipping in with 4. Josh Rivera with 4. Abdu Tambila with 2. And then that's it. It's pretty easy to sum up the box score when the score is 24-23. Max Shulga with 7 points for VCU on 3 of 7 shooting, 1 of 3 from deep. We mentioned earlier that this VCU team doesn't shoot the 3-ball well. And tonight, 2 of 18 from beyond the arc. Fordham not a whole lot better at 2 for 11.
No, not at all.
But you feel like...
But I'd rather be 2 for 11 than 2 for 18.
And both teams have been getting some open looks from beyond the arc. You feel like whoever just starts to cash the open opportunities first is going to be the team to come out on top in this one. VCU will inbound as we start the second half here at the Siegel Center. Clark at midcourt on this near side will do the honors for the VCU Rams. Clark into Philip Russell in the backcourt, and we're underway here in the second half. Russell on the far side wing. Up high, Bamboye. Pushed out to the far side corner. Russell will drive in on Johnson, missed the lay, but Clark comes in with the second chance. 26-23 VCU. Dean looking for an option, inbounds to Johnson, watched closely by VCU.
It's just about boxing out on those second chance points. Don't worry about the layup. Just the second you see a shot go up, get a body on someone.
10 second chance points for VCU in this game so far. Medor for Jackie Johnson straight away. High screen from Tambila. Johnson feeds Dean down low, able to gather, goes up with it, but can't finish. And Clark got bumped by Dean as he came down with the rebound.
Dean was falling there. You got to call that foul there because there's no way he goes out of bounds now, Dean. Just unfortunate one to pick up.
37 seconds into the second half. Ramad Dean will check out. Josh Rivera back in. 2 fouls now on Ramad Dean. Shulga will inbound in the backcourt into Russell, who scored 25 and then 26 points in the first 2 A-10 games for VCU. It wasn't Shulga or Bamisile doing the score. It was Russell against Bonaventure and then against Loyola Chicago. Russell inside. Bamboye. Rivera got there but couldn't contest the shot. It's 28-23 VCU. Medor the other way, lost the ball on the sideline. That's a turnover. Disastrous start to this second half for Fordham. 28-23 VCU, 18:54 to go in the second half. VCU will inbound at midcourt.
The most dangerous time to be a Fordham Ram in conference play is the second half before the under-16 media. Fordham yet to come out with a hot start. Oftentimes going into the half with momentum, even a lead, and just letting it slip by the wayside.
Already a 5-point lead as Shulga feeds down low. This is Bamboye backing down Abdu. Up high again for Clark. Joe Bamisile, the long 3, shot no good. They call a foul. Joe Bamisile will shoot 3 free throws at the free throw line. Did you see contact?
I got to see the replay. That looked phantom foul, if there ever was one.
We're seeing it on the monitor here as Bamisile goes into his motion. I think Medor touched his right arm as he went up for it. Bamisile felt it and sold the contact.
Yeah.
So 3 shots coming for Joe Bamisile.
And that, again, is just that's not the start you want.
It's already 4 straight points for VCU to start this half, make it 5. 29-23 VCU.
5 going on 6, going on 7. A 7-0 run with 1 Ram shot up.
Joe Bamisile in his second year at VCU, previously Oklahoma, George Washington, and Virginia Tech. Second free throw, too strong, no good. Wasn't initially eligible to play for VCU last year because it was his 4th transfer in 4 years, but they got that sorted a little bit into the season. And Joe Bamisile had a big impact last year, big impact this year at 16 points per game. He goes 2 for 3 from the line. It's all of a sudden a 7-point VCU lead at 30-23. Jackie Johnson quickly ahead for Fordham. Circles around to the near side wing. Bounce pass from Medor at the VCU logo. Medor for Rivera, top of the key. Rivera looking for an option. Didn't see Russell from behind. And VCU can go back on the fast break. Clark lays it up and in. 32-23 VCU. That's an 8-0 run to start the second half, Keith Ergo calls timeout. Just a disastrous start to the half. We're not even 2 minutes in.
Inexplicably disastrous. 9-point lead here for the Virginia Commonwealth Rams. And at some point, you just got to look in the mirror as the Fordham Rams. They've caused so many bad turnovers to start this half, and we're not 2 minutes in.
Chaz, this has been a theme for Fordham where it seems like the bad stretches are stretches that kind of eliminate any chance you had of winning the game. The stretches are so bad where it's a 4 or 5 minute stretch or 3-4 minute stretch where it's so bad. The offense is bad. The defense breaks down the other way, and all of a sudden you blink and the other team's gone on a 10, 12-point run, and you're behind.
Which shows a lack of mental fortitude on the part of the Rams from the Bronx. Now, great halftime speech it had to have been from Ryan Odom to have his guys come out balls to the wall, ready to go. Keith Ergo's got to do the same right now. This is your halftime. You're down 9 at half. That's how you got to think about it.
8 straight points for VCU. Only a minute and 43 seconds gone by in this second half. Feels a lot longer based on everything that's gone wrong for Fordham so far to start this second half. VCU a quick 8 points on the board, and Fordham are going to have to try to work their way through this. You felt good when it was a 1-2 point game, and you felt like at any moment, Fordham could take game over on offense, but now you're down by 9 against a team that as stout defensively as this VCU group, and all of a sudden, what was a small hill to climb at halftime is now a mountain.
I mean, this is, you leave at half for a bathroom break and you come back and you feel like you're watching a different basketball game. An absurd run out of the Rams. Props to them.
Yeah, VCU, a little bit too talented of a group to keep shooting as bad as they were shooting.
But it's not even, they haven't taken a 3.
You're right. Well, it's not their game. Their game is getting those defensive stops. You move it in transition and get inside.
But it wasn't even stops. Like Fordham getting, like that Josh just giving away the ball like that. Jaffe stepping out of bounds. A terrible shot from Romad under the basket after his turnover.
Mental mistakes for Fordham.
Mental.
A lot
it's
of
all
them
mental.
In just the opening minute 43 of this second half. Coming out of Fordham's timeout. It'll be their possession in the backcourt. Jameer Tripp will inbound underneath the basket. It's Johnson, Dean, Mador, Timbila, and Tripp out there right now for Fordham.
You've got VCU on the road. That's a big circle on your schedule for the Fordham Rams. Tough game, and you, by hook or by crook, get them in an empty arena, and then you're just not capitalizing on their lack of fans.
Mador across the timeline. Has it straight away for Fordham. Top of the key, Jameer Tripp. Screen from Timbila. Tripp looking for an option, will drive with the right hand, gets the roll. Strong move from Jameer Tripp, his first points of the night. 32-25 VCU, 17:50 to go in the second half. Shilga at the logo. Screen from Bamboy. Inside from Shilga. Bamboye, shot wouldn't go. Foul called on Abdu. Luke Bamboye.
That's on Ramad.
Foul on Ramad. Dean, check, or Jameer Tripp. Oh, gets called for his second foul. And it's going to be free throws coming for Luke Bamboye, the freshman from London, England.
3 fouls early for the Rams, too. Not a great if you're trying to get position.
Bamboye currently third in the A-10 in blocks per game at 2.2. That big body at 6'10". First free throw, no good from Bamboye. Came off the bench in the team's 11 of the team's first 12 games this season, but has found himself as a starter in these last 4 games as we started A-10 play. Bamboye, no good. He goes 0 for 2 at the line, but the rebound comes all the way out to Russell. Second chance opportunity for VCU. Shilga fakes, drives right by Tripp, uncontested. And Max Shilga slams it down. VCU by 9. Tripp the other way. For Johnson on the far side wing. At the free throw line, Jackie rises up with it, feeds Abdu Mador from the near side wing. That's a 3, and that's good. Huge shot there from Jaffe Mador. 34-28 VCU. No one back for the Rams. Clark up high. Russell for Shilga. Clark now in the near side corner. Down low, Tripp gets called for the foul. bumped Bamboy from behind.
And that's 3 on Jameer Tripp, 2 quickies. That is brutal for the Rams' defensive rotation. Look at this blow by on this replay. Jameer Tripp going for the shot contest. Known shooter Max Shulga in the corner. You got to remain on your help. Defense has to be there in the paint.
VCU will inbound underneath. Tripp, after picking up his 3rd foul, will check out of the game. Zach Riley is in for Fordham. VCU to inbound underneath. Flipped up to Shulga on the far side. Backing down. Shulga tipped away by Medor. Riley to the ground with it, and he gets it to Medor. Fordham back the other way. Great hands from Jaffe. Medor to Dean, near side wing. Feeds the post for Timbila, low block. Timbila in the post. Righty hook wouldn't go. Rebound loose. Secured by Bamboye. Philip Russell the other way for VCU. Russell drives on Dean. Went right at him. Shot wouldn't go. It's loose. Last touch off Fordham as the ball went out of bounds on the baseline. Good contest, though, from Ramad Dean.
Keith Urgo upset at the officials. Tails all this time. Didn't like the lack of a call there on Timbila. Fordham, again, just looking to maintain, looking to keep their cool. They're only down 6.
The 3 from Bamasil is no good. That's short. Wasn't close, but then Abdu got bumped underneath. That's going to be a foul on VCU. No?
Or Fordham ball?
Yeah, Fordham ball. It was a foul called underneath.
Oh, foul. I thought it was Fordham possession.
It was Timbila colliding with Dean on the baseline, going out of bounds, but they ruled Abdu got bumped.
There we go.
And that'll be a foul on VCU. Fordham to inbound in the backcourt through Zach Riley. They're down by 6 with 16:27 to go in the second half. Johnson with it in the backcourt for the Rams. The Fordham Rams, that is. Johnson accelerates past Seb Jackson. Johnson got it back. Lefty hook shot out of control, wouldn't go. Timbila the offensive board. Timbila working down low, couldn't get the roll on the second chance layup. Joe Bamasil the other way for VCU. Shrugged off Riley and gets it to go. He definitely extended that left hand to get the separation. Strong move from Bamasil, no offensive foul called. VCU up 36-28, 15:55 to go second half. Jaffe Medor has it at the VCU logo. Swung to the near side wing for Zach Riley. Up high again for Jackie Johnson. Pushed to the far side for Jaffe Medor. Timbila the screen. Medor for 3. No good. Ramad Dean the offensive board. They're going to call him for a foul underneath.
Just brutal for the Rams. Momentum halting in its tracks every chance it gets. Snowball effect in tow. Again, still single-digit lead for the VCU. This is more of the position I saw the Rams in an empty arena. You know, at VCU, just not missing as much as they should. Rams need to take more time. They have a whole half of basketball left to play. That Abdu hook shot was ill-advised. Take more time in your possessions. You have the best player on the floor at all times, and Jackie Johnson III when he's out there. Take your time in these possessions, get some good shots up, the right shot, Fordham basketball, stay there on the defensive end, and maintain excellence.
We've hit the under 16 media timeout here in the second half with 15:38 to go. It's VCU 36, Fordham 28. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Welcome back inside the Siegel Center. VCU with a 36-28 lead over Fordham with 15:38 to go in the second half. I'm Nick Guzman alongside Chaz McAdams. And Chaz, it was 24-23 VCU at the halftime break. But since that break, the VCU Rams have gone 5 of 8 from the field. That's 62%. And they've pulled out to this 8-point advantage. Things not going Fordham's way. Some sloppy play from them. Also not getting some calls from the officials they feel like they should be getting. And as such, Fordham now need to claw back from down 8.
Fordham, again, shooting 2 for 7 from the field. Not the percentages you need. You're right, VCU, you were right. Your prediction was correct. VCU was the team to finally figure it out. In terms of efficiency, the Rams, again, it's just the shot selection is so perplexing. Abdu spinning into double teams on a post hook. You got to be able to find the open man there. Someone's open, you know what I mean? There's got to be a better sense of direction in terms of where you're going, where the ball is, defensively as well. As a whole, the Rams need more connectivity, more cohesion, playing as a unit. 5 guys versus the ball on defense is a term we use in the basketball community. That's what I want to see more of the Rams. No getting lost on backdoor cuts. No letting the ball. When the ball goes up in the air, find someone. Just find someone.
Zeb Jackson gets the inbound pass back, and he'll cross the timeline. Up high straight away, this is Philip Russell for VCU. Fordham in that zone look with 3 up high. Riley in the middle. Johnson providing the pressure on that far side. Jackson up high for Russell. Again on the perimeter for Jackson, looking to penetrate. Russell again for Jackson. He'll launch the 3. No good. Rivera can't grab the board. Up high again for Russell. Bamasil, shot clock violation as the shot never hit the rim. Great defensive possession for the Rams. Got to grab the board if you're Josh Rivera.
Blast that didn't hit the rim.
But the zone look comes to fruition in that.
Great, yeah, love to see that. Good adjustment there from Coach Keith Ergo. Again, you have to be able to grab those rebounds.
15:06 to go in the second half, 36-28 VCU. Riley's inbounds pass deflected away by Bamasil into the sideline. Intended for Jaffe Medor. Fordham will do it again. VCU, part of running that big rotation means that you can have the energy to keep up this full court press throughout the full 40 minutes.
That's why I said, yeah, fresh legs always help.
Riley inbounds to Johnson. Under 15 to go here in the second half. Medor will cross the timeline. Fordham down by 8 here at VCU in an empty Siegel Center. Handoff up high for Johnson. Straight away, this is Zach Riley. Feeds Rivera at the free throw line. Zona's open for 3. He buries it. Matt Zona from the far side wing. 36-31. The lead back down to 5. 14:39 to go in the second half.
Love that 3-2 look here for the Rams.
Russell for Jackson again. The 3-2 zone from the Rams. VCU not sure what to do with it. Russell feeds inside for Clark. Pass batted by Riley. It'll come on the perimeter. Shot no good. Rivera couldn't grab the rebound, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch off of Fordham. 9 seconds to shoot for VCU.
Josh, gotta grab those rebounds. Yeesh.
14:19 to go in the second half. Fordham, you got to limit them to just one and done possessions when you're getting these stops with the zone look. Referee's talking to Keith Ergo about something. He's been upset with the officials all night long.
Oh, look at the possession clock.
You're right. They reset the shot clock back to 20 seconds. Not sure if that hit the rim or not. But VCU will inbound with a fresh 20. Bamasil straight away, driving on Medor. Bamasil hangs high, gets it to go, and the foul.
That's what extra possessions can do to you. That should show you the importance of defensive rebounding. That play never happens if Josh Rivera can put 2 hands on a basketball.
Joe Bamasil will look for the old-fashioned three-point play here. Fordham have struggled all night long. That's 15 offensive rebounds now for VCU compared to just 7 for Fordham. Bamasil, free throw in and out. Zona the rebound. VCU just 4 of 9 from the free throw line in this game. Jaffe Medor on the near side wing. Screen from Zona. Medor looking to attack. Gets inside on Bamasil. He got bumped as he went up for it. 2 shots coming for Jaffe Medor.
There we go.
Call it on Bamasil.
There we go. That's huge. Bamasil, again, hopefully getting him in foul trouble. He is this offense. I know Shulga's been the shooter, but Bamasil has so much on-court gravity to where he takes a lot of players off. He takes a lot of players off of Shulga, off of guys like Bamboye, Hill, Billups, especially Jennings. Bamisil is such an asset to this VCU team, and he's a leading scorer for a reason.
Medor gets the first free throw to go. Got a friendly roll on that one. Bamisil very north to south. As soon as he gets the ball, he's driving.
Just like Jaffe.
Second shot coming for Medor. He knocks it down. 2-for-2 trip for Jaffe. Fordham back within 5 with 14 minutes to go in the second half. Shulga for Russell to carry the ball ahead. That's Jackson, rather. Handoff for Shulga. Clark. Jackson. Clark again straight away. Swung out to the far side. Jackson gets inside. Up high for Clark. Fakes the three. Will look to drive in the corner. Jackson's three is short. Rivera again couldn't grab the board. Zona fighting for it. A jump ball possession arrow favors Fordham.
That's what you like to see out of the Bronx. Great play from Matt Zona there. He's had 2 of those wrap-ups, caused 2 jump balls. That's what you want to see out of your big man.
38-33 VCU, 13:40 to go in the second half. The full court pressure continues from VCU. They'll inbound to Zona here. And Jackie Johnson hands off for Medor, who can advance the ball past Shulga. Jackie Johnson with it. Straight away, Zach Riley. The feed, top of the key for Josh Rivera. Faces the basket. Rivera backing down. They come for the steal. Rivera lost it, and that's going to be a turnover on Josh Rivera. VCU back the other way. Bamisil backing down Medor for Clark. Stolen away by Zach Riley. He's got a fast break the other way. Riley lays it up and in. Quick hands from Zach Riley. The second start of the season in this game, and it's a 3-point game.
That's what you like to see out of Auckland's finest. Great play there from Riley.
Shulga with under 13 to go in the second half. This 3-2 zone look still out there for Fordham. Riley pressuring the ball. Shulga on the near side wing. Bamisil comes around the screen and buries the triple. Joe Bamisil, VCU up by 6. Medor quickly back the other way. Medor for Zona, who finishes with the right hand.
Love a quick score there on that Bamisil 3. That's Rivera getting caught on a backdoor cut.
All of a sudden we got some offense here in Richmond. 41-37 VCU, 12:26 to go second half. Bamisil near side wing, up high for Shulga. Swing out to the far side for Jackson. Left elbow, Bamisil. Has it now, far side wing. Bamisil will try it again and bury it again. That was a contested shot. Joe Bamisil knocks it down. VCU up by 7. Medor, Zona with the answer. He gets it to go. Matt Zona connects on the 3. We're going back and forth here now in Richmond. It's VCU by 4, under 12 to go in the second half. Shulga. Jackson up high. Got to keep an eye on Bamisil when you're running this zone. Shulga for Jackson on the far side wing. Straight away, Shulga drives up high. Jackson, his 3, no good. Rebound, VCU, they keep it alive. Shulga drives on Zona with the left hand, couldn't get it to go. The third opportunity is put up and in by Furman. 46-40 VCU. Jackie Johnson has it in the backcourt. Fordham can't get a stop. It's either the 3 goes in or it's an offensive rebound. Johnson drives, got bumped by 2 VCU players. And that'll be a foul on the floor. So it's 46-40 VCU as we've reached the under 12 media timeout with 11:17 to go in the second half. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Lou Orlando.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Oh, we'll keep you in the loop with the A-10. Loyola Chicago defeats LaSalle 79-68. URI has completely closed the gap on GW. GW was up 15 at one point in this game. It is all even, 55-55, 9.5 to go in the second half. George Mason up over Richmond 47-44 after going down early. Duquesne, still a slim lead over St. Joe's, but St. Joe's closing the gap as well. They were down by 9 just a couple minutes ago. Now it's 54-50. And we'll take a look at the top 25, former Fordham head coach Kyle Neptune leading Villanova against number 9 UConn, the reigning champs. 18 seconds left. The Wildcats lead 67-66, so I'll update you at the under 4, but Kyle Neptune a chance for a big upset. The college football playoff semifinals starts tomorrow, perhaps one of the best matchups of the year. number 6 seed Penn State against number 7 Notre Dame. That has the makings of an all-time great game. Kickoff at 7:30 from University Park. Friday night, it's Texas and Ohio, also at 7:30. The two winners, Monday, January 20th, they will square off in the college football championship game. So very fun, heating up. Check in with College Gridiron, the WFUV College Football Podcast. With the one-on-one scoreboard update, Lou Orlando.
Thanks, Lou. Nick Guzman, Chaz McAdams back here in the Siegel Center. 11:17 to go in the second half. It's VCU 46, Fordham 40. Chaz, how about 12 points in 12 minutes for Matt Zona on 5 of 6 shooting, providing that offensive spark the Rams have been looking for, considering, Jafe's 3 of 10 from the field, Jackie's 2 of 9 from the field. He needs someone else to step up, and Matt Zona's been connecting from deep.
He's a stud. I mean, the kid from Rockland County knows how to get it done. Coming to us from the ACC, from South Bend Zone, Fighting Irish. He's just a guy that knows how to play high-level basketball. Played since high school at Bergen Catholic with Fordham Ram Will Richardson. Just a great basketball player all around. He's had some hot and cold moments. Defensively, he leaves a little bit to be desired, but he's not traditional big. You have him out there for his offense, connecting on 2 threes. Massive for the Rams.
It'll be Fordham to inbound in the front court underneath the basket through Jameer Tripp coming out of this media timeout.
Got a little bit of a stat for you. VCU season high offensive rebounds, 19 versus Elizabeth City College, a Division II squad.
They have 17 offensive rebounds already. Tripp inbounds to Zona. Pushed up high for Jaffe Medor. Commanding the offense for the Rams. Medor, the crossover up high. Bounce pass for Tripp, who slams it down. What a pass. What a finish from Jameer Tripp. Fordham back within 4 with 11 minutes to go in the second half.
Defense is everything here for the Rams. If you score, it doesn't matter. You have to be able to stop Virginia Commonwealth.
Russell up high for Shulga. Fordham abandoning that zone look. They're back in man-to-man. Shulga inside Bamasil. The lob and the jam. Luke Bamboye with the alley-oop. It's back to a 6-point VCU lead. 10:30 to go second half. Johnson across the timeline. Johnson driving left. Got around the defenders, but it's blocked away by Bamboye. Shulga into the front court for VCU. Attacks on Zona. Russell fakes the 3 on Tripp. Instead, he'll drive. Russell got all the way to the cup. Missed it. Rebound Bamboye. And he goes up and slams it home. 50-42 VCU. Medor wasting no time getting to the front court. This is Zona now for Medor on the far side wing. 8-point VCU lead, under 10 to go in the second half. Zona up high. Handoff for Jackie Johnson. He'll drive. Johnson for Zona. His 3 blocked away. He'll get it again. Zona drives, went up with it. That's going to be a foul called underneath. Great, the dribble drive from Matt Zona.
The length of Bamboye. Oh my gosh. 2 great dunks out of him. And the ability to block. That's probably the only guy that you're worried about blocking a Matt Zona 3 is a guy like Bamboye.
Showing why he's been more and more in the rotation for VCU as the season's gone along. But 2 shots coming from Matt Zona. 9:42 to go in the second half. Zona's first free throw is good. The Rams 8 of 9 from the line so far.
He's a fantastic free throw shooter.
So you feel better about what Fordham's doing on offense, but now they got to get those defensive rebounds on the other end. Seems like VCU's keeping it until they score. On the day, they're up to 40% shooting, and that's because of all those extra chances they've had in this half. Second shot from Zona is good as well. It's a 6-point VCU lead with 9:42 to go in the second half. Abdu Timbila back on the court for Matt Zona. Back the other way comes VCU inside, right around Abdu, and they get the roll. Zeb Jackson goes coast to coast in an instant. Tripp inbounds to Medor. Across the timeline for the Rams. They've got numbers into the corner for Dean. Fakes the 3. Straight away for Riley. Poked away. VCU pass couldn't be handled on the fast break. Jackson has it up high. That's going to be a 3 from the near side wing, and that's perfect from Fats Billups. All of a sudden, it's an 11-point VCU lead with 9:05 to go in the second half. Pass into Medor, foul called on Phillip Russell.
7th.
But again,
1-1?
It should be if that's foul number. I think that's just the 5th or 6th one on VCU. Number 5.
Oh, right, sorry.
Team foul number 5 on VCU.
See, Rams. It confuses me.
Trip inbounds to Medor. Fordham all of a sudden down by 11 with under 9 to go in the second half. Across the timeline. The handoff got busted up, and that's going to be another foul on VCU. Pretty much every pass, everything that Fordham has tried to do in this game has been contested heavily by VCU.
Honestly, it's the opposite of what you would think for normal basketball. VCU not getting a lot of traditional steals off the dribble. Hold the ball for a little bit longer. Don't play hot potato. You're a Division I athlete.
Into the corner for Ramad Dean. Dean feeds the post for Timbila. He's double teamed. Abdu needs an option here. He can put it on the floor still. Instead, he passes it into the backcourt. Past Medor, and that's out of bounds for a turnover. Right, Chaz? He could still dribble there.
Yeah, I think he's afraid to off that double. Someone's got to get more for him in a window there. You got to hit that right side wing. He's not going to be able to see you on the opposite side of the court.
Russell inbounds all the way to the backcourt to Zeb Jackson. I feel like this is crunch time here for Fordham. Can't let this thing get any more out of hand. Jackson on the far side wing, watched by Zach Riley. Jackson, the crossover, gets to the baseline. Abdu right there to meet him. He'll fade away. Shot no good. Rebound loose. Dean couldn't get it, pulled away by Shulga. Another offensive rebound for VCU. Russell up high. Bamboye top of the key. Shulga now on the near side wing. 7 to shoot for VCU. Shulga leans into it, gets the foul call, and will go to the free throw line. This is so frustrating if you're a Rams fan, because you feel like they've done a lot. Fordham Rams fan, because you feel like you've done a lot of positive things well in this game. They just can't hold VCU to one and done possessions. It's essentially like they're shooting until they make it.
18 offensive rebounds. I feel like I'm in an open gym right now. And I think they're taking this to the under 8 media.
With 8:02 to go in the second half, it's 55-44 VCU. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey, it's Chaz McAdams here calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. With hot takes covering all sports from the 5 boroughs and beyond, to interviews with some of the biggest names in sports media. We're live Saturdays on the WFUV Sports YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Come join us next Saturday for One-on-One.
Back here inside the Siegel Center, Nick Guzman here alongside Chaz McAdams. 55-44 in favor of VCU with 8:02 to go in the second half. Chaz, if you want to circle a single reason why VCU have an 11-point lead in this game, offensive rebounds. They have 20 of them. That's a season high for VCU. And in this second half, it's essentially been VCU are shooting until they make it. Fordham struggling so much to get stops. And as a result, they're down 11 here with 8 minutes to go in the half.
Absolutely. There's no reason why VCU should be in the great position that they're in. They average 12.5 offensive rebounds per game on the season. They're up to 20. That should show you the jump that they're usually in. And they're 3.5 rebounding favorites. They're not a team known for their rebounding. Fordham just giving them up.
And in comparison, Fordham with only 8 offensive rebounds of their own compared to 20 for VCU. 25 total rebounds for Fordham. 41 rebounds for VCU. That's 16 plus 16 in the rebound category for VCU. And that'll win you a game. That'll win you a game that was a close defensive battle in the first half, but then just keeping those possessions alive. You know, their shooting percentage over 50% for this second half, up over 40% for the game, but a lot of that you feel like is just from the second chance points, they're going 1 for 2 every time down.
Absolutely, and this should all be said. All these stats we're giving are in the context with 8 full minutes of basketball left to play. So who knows how far the record's been set. VCU, most VCU offensive rebounds ever recorded, January 27th, 2018 versus George Mason. They're only 2 away.
And you feel like that'd be a safe bet to say they're going to hit that and set the new program record for offensive rebounds.
I would say they're on pace.
It's the most. It's not the most ever. It's the most they've recorded since January 27th.
Right, the most they've recorded. Would it be the most they've recorded since?
But that's 6 years. It's a historic offensive rebounding performance.
Coach Keith Ergo was at Penn State
a long time ago. I mean, where were you, Chaz?
Barnstable County.
There you go.
Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
First free throw from Shulga is perfect.
Probably broadcasting my first game.
Yeah. There you go.
Go Raiders.
Go Raiders. 56-44 VCU. Shulga, the second free throw is good as well. He's got one more after getting fouled on that three-point attempt. That's the second time in this game that Fordham have fouled a three-point shooter. It was Bamasil earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been fouling a lot of three-point shooters. I think at least one a game for conference play. I know 2 versus St. Louis. I don't know about versus Bonnie's, but fouling threes is something you should have 3, 4, 5 on the season, not just in conference play.
Shulga goes 3 for 3 from the line. VCU 58, Fordham 44, under 8 to go in the second half. Jaffe Medor at the logo, circling down to this near side wing. Tambila sets the screen. Medor for Johnson on the near side. Looking to attack. Jackie gets inside. Some active hands in there from VCU and blocked away by Bamboye. 2-on-1 the other way for VCU. Russell hangs high. Couldn't get it to go. Good contest by Jaffe Medor. And Fordham back the other way quickly. Tripp looking to drive. Circles out to the far side wing. Crossover. Driving baseline. Double team down low. Tripp in and out. Toilet bowls around and will not fall for the Fordham Rams. Shulga the other way for VCU. Jackson pumps the 3 into the corner. Driving on Tambila. Got him up in the air, did Billups, and he finishes with the right hand. That's Fats Billups the third. Makes it 60-44 VCU. And it's a 16-point game. Under 7 to go second half. Medor for Johnson up high. Jackie still with it on that far side. Attacks with the left hand. Will pull up from 3 and sink the triple. Much needed 3 from Jackie Johnson. It's back to a 13-point game.
Those are the plays you need.
Shulga at the VCU logo. Double teamed. Will feed the post for Bamboye. Jackson on the near side wing. He'll drive, gets inside, lefty lay, wouldn't go. Bamboye the tip, back out to Russell, too strong. Ramad Dean couldn't grab the board, and it's going to be a foul underneath. We'll see on who. And it's a foul on Zeb Jackson, so Fordham will keep possession, but man, Chaz, 21 O boards for VCU.
It's getting spooky out here. It's getting real spooky for the Fordham Rams.
I mean, now when that ball came up high, yes, it was a foul, and it seemed like Dean was just waiting for it to come down, and then all of a sudden there's a scramble for it.
It's inexplicable.
So it's 60.
I would say there's something in the water, but no water. I've never seen a rebounding battle like this.
And 60-47 VCU, 6:13 to go in the second half. Again, an empty Siegel Center due to the ongoing water crisis here in Richmond. You really feel for the community around here, because that's a tough thing to go through.
I was so talking to some of their managers and staff. They've been showering with water bottles.
Yeah.
It's the first snowstorm they've gotten in years.
Just not prepared for it down south here. Ramad Dean at the free throw line, shooting 1 and 1. It's off the heel. Rebound, Bamboye. Missed opportunity for Fordham. Max Shulga has it for VCU at the logo. Pushed out there to the far side wing for Joe Bamasil. Bamasil, Shulga now on the near side. Rivera watching him. Screen from Bamboye. Shulga drives from the left elbow. What a shot from Max Shulga. Was just trying to draw the foul. He ended up banking it in. What a shot from the former Utah State man.
And the lead has just ballooned and ballooned. 15 points now.
5:35 to go in the second half. Johnson looking to attack. Straight away, Medor. Open three. That's perfect from Jaffe Medor. It's back to a 12-point game. And Medor gets the steal. And timeout called by Keith Ergo before VCU could get it back. Medor drains the three, makes a diving play to get the steal, and then they get the timeout. Talk about attitude, Jaffe Medor. What a sequence.
That's what you need to see out of your captain. That's what you need to see out of your leader. There's no reason that Fordham should have let this lead balloon the way it did. Plays like that are going to get him back into this game. It's the defense. It's the attitude mentality.
That's 16 points now for Jaffe Medor on 4 of 11, shooting 3 of 6 from 3. And it'll be Fordham basketball after this short Fordham timeout. Fordham have really struggled to get stops in this second half. And a backcourt steal like that might be just what you need to try to get things going.
And time is winding down. Only 5 minutes, 24 seconds left. That's not a lot of time for leads like this. The game has to change on a dime right now.
It's 62-50 VCU. Fordham going to need some stops. Going to need to make some shots here if they want to claw their way back into this one. Ramad Dean will inbound underneath. It's Dean, Johnson, Medor, Zona, and Rivera, the 5 for your Fordham Rams. Coming out of this timeout with 5:24 to go in the second half. Dean flips up high for Medor. Medor drive left, got inside and one. Jaffe Medor putting the team on his back. They'll count the basket. VCU arguing the foul should be on the floor. Medor will go to the free throw line for one more.
That's and one. That was his second step with the contact. No continuation in college, but you can still get fouls going on the way up if you're in a basketball motion. It's a great call.
18 now for Medor. It's a 10-point VCU lead. 5:20 to go in the second half, and one more free throw to come for Jaffe. He gets it to go back to single digits. It's a 9-point game. Shulga looking to inbound in the backcourt, doesn't really have an option, gets into Bamasil. And Shulga will give to Philip Russell. Shulga on the near side, crosses the timeline. Back to the 3-2 zone for Fordham. Shulga for Russell on the far side wing. Shulga again straight away for Russell. He'll launch a deep triple. That's short. Soaring in for the rebound is Joe Bamasil. Rivera was there. Dean was there. Bamasil flies in and make that 20. Another offensive rebound for VCU and another putback. Medor the other way for Fordham. An 11-point game. 21 offensive boards now for VCU. Medor at the logo. Feeds the post for Zona. Lost the handle momentarily. Flip back up high for Zona. Medor looking to drive. Feeds Zona in the post. He spun around with it. Lost the handle. Out of bounds on the baseline. Fordham wanted a foul. None called. 5 seconds to shoot for Fordham.
Big possession here for the Rams. Keep it single digits. Keep it to maybe make it a 2-possession game. 4:26 left. You got to maintain excellence. You know you have that under 4 media timeout. If you need to retool anything, you stay in the 3-2 zone. This is a huge bucket if it goes here.
Medor will inbound underneath. There's going to be a substitution here for VCU. Zeb Jackson will check back in. Philip Russell will check out. 4:26 to go, second half. VCU by 11. Medor looking for an option. Has to get it in. Jaffe in for Josh Rivera, who misses the point-blank layup. Rebound by Clark, and VCU the other way. Needed that one to fall for Josh Rivera. Shulga at the VCU logo. 4:10 to go, second half. They lead by 11. Shulga for Bamasil. Thought about the three. Will feed inside for Clark. Back up high for Shulga. Driving on Rivera. Blocked away by Josh Rivera. Out of bounds on the baseline.
That's how you make up for a play like that. You get your lick back on the defensive end. That is Fordham basketball. No matter the offensive mistakes you make, I think Coach Keith Ergo is fine with all those mistakes. If you try and you box out and you play hard on the defensive end, you'll stay in the 94 by 50.
9 to shoot for VCU. Clark down low got bumped. That's going to be a foul with 4 minutes to go in the second half. That will take us to our under 4 media timeout. 64-53 VCU. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Lou Orlando.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
One final check-in with A10 men's hoops, looking like George Mason going to hang on here against Richmond. They're up 61-54 with 42 seconds left, so George Mason will improve to 11-5. GW a 3-point lead over URI in the final 4 minutes. And St. Joe's and Duquesne coming down to the wire as well. Duquesne up by 1, a minute 50 to go. A reminder, Duquesne 6-9, St. Joe's 10-5. So Duquesne trying to upset the Hawks here. In the top 25, former Fordham head coach Kyle Neptune does pull off the upset. He leads Villanova to a 68-66 win over the reigning champs UConn. It's not just their biggest win of the season, obviously number 9 UConn. It's their second win against a top 25 opponent after a real bad start for the Wildcats. In the NBA, RJ Barrett a team-high 13 points for Toronto against his former team, the New York Knicks. Raptors trail 55-51 at halftime. Nets are down 10, 59-49 to the up-and-coming Detroit Pistons. That one at halftime as well. NFL playoffs begin this weekend. Chargers, Texans, Ravens, Steelers on Saturday. Broncos, Bills, Packers, Eagles, Commanders, Bucks on Sunday. Rams, Vikings on Monday. Lions and Chiefs have first-round byes. Last update for me, Lou Orlando with the 101 scoreboard update. Back to the guys in Virginia.
Thanks, Lou. Back here inside the Siegel Center. Nick Guzman alongside Chaz McAdams. Exactly 4 minutes to go in the second half. VCU with a 64-53 lead over Fordham. And we're sorry if we sound like broken records when we mention the offensive rebounds, but it has been such a huge part of this game. VCU with 22 offensive rebounds, keeping those possessions alive, and a big reason why they pulled away from Fordham here in this second half.
Absolutely. There's no way that Fordham or VCU are in the spots that they're in. This game looks way different if Fordham's able to even cut that defensive rebounding number or offensive rebounding number by 10. 10.
It's been an off night for Fordham star Jackie Johnson, 3 of 12 shooting for 8 points. Jaffe Medora, though, with 19 on 5 of 12 shooting. Matt Zona with 14 points in just 16 minutes of action to lead the way on offense for Fordham. It's going to have to be an exceptional final 4 minutes if Fordham wants to avoid falling to 0-3 rather in Atlantic 10 conference play.
And this is the game to do. This is where you beat VCU. Empty arena. Again, these guys are so resilient. These guys haven't had water in the last few days.
Yeah.
And they're still able to come here and play excellent basketball. It's something to be admired.
Jack Clark with the free throws. We've mentioned the effect that no fans has on VCU.
No water.
No water, a huge impact as well. Clark misses the free throw. It's batted back out. Johnson fighting for it, but Bama Seal will keep the possession alive for VCU. Backing down on Rivera. Rivera takes the contact and draws the offensive foul.
Attitude. Ergo loved it. The bench loved it. That's how you make, again, but 23 offensive rebounds. Great there for the Rams, and not letting up the press, VCU.
Bama Seal's been aggressive using that offhand when he's been driving, and that time Rivera takes the charge. 3:47 to go second half, 64-53 VCU. Jaffe Medora into the front court for Fordham. Fordham need points, and they need them fast. Tripp, driving left, looking for an option, kicks out near side wing for Josh Rivera. Rivera for Johnson, again on this near side wing. Looking for an option, 7 to shoot. Jackie, they got to go here, 4 seconds, backing down in the post. Johnson spins with the left hand, couldn't get the roll. Rebound by Tripp, back up with it, he finishes. Huge offensive rebound from Jameer Tripp. It's a 9-point game with 3:13 to go second half. Max Shulga has the ball in the front court for VCU. Shulga. Top of the key against Rivera. Backdoor cut from Zeb Jackson. Got it to him. Rivera hung tough in the air, but he'll get called for the foul on the shot contest. 2 shots. We'll call the foul on Jameer Tripp. 4th on Tripp. And 2 shots coming for Zeb Jackson.
Keep that in mind for him. Fordham going small ball. No Zona or Timbila in sight.
I mean, you haven't been grabbing the rebounds anyway.
Right.
So.
True.
You might as well maximize
the shooting.
Yeah. Zeb Jackson, 2 free throws. First one is good. Zeb Jackson, grad student from Ohio, third year at VCU, was preseason All-A-10 second team. Previously spent 2 years playing for Michigan in the Big Ten. Luke Bamboye will check back in for Joe Bamisil. 2:59 to go, second half, 10-point VCU lead. Second shot from Jackson is good as well. It's back up to 11. 2 big free throws from Zeb Jackson to make that deficit just that much greater. Medor in the backcourt for Fordham. Across the timeline, up high for Tripp. Tripp feeds down low for Rivera. He got mauled in the lane as he went up for the shot. Foul called by on Shulga, I believe.
Josh at the line. This is big.
Big free throws. I mean, you think of these are points you have to have here with 2:44 to go in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, you have to not only score every offensive possession you're given, but you have to take, at this point, 2:44, down 11, hopefully he turns up 9, you have to take some offensive possessions away. Get some steals.
2 shots coming for Josh. 4 points so far in the day, 1 of 6 shooting. First free throw from Josh is perfect. 3 for 3 for Josh Rivera from the free throw line tonight.
Love to see that.
Came in today shooting 40% from that free throw line. Takes a deep breath. Gets into his motion. Rivera knocks it down again.
Empty arena.
2 made free throws for Josh Rivera. 9-point VCU lead. 2:44 to go in the second half. Fordham in their full court press here. Pass bobbled by Jackson. He got it back to Shulga, and Russell will cross the timeline in the corner for Clark. Fordham able to get back on defense. 2:36 to go in the second half and counting. At the logo, this is Russell with VCU protecting a 9-point lead. Russell up high, attacking on Rivera, driving right, circles around, cuts back to the baseline, blocked away by Jameer Tripp. A mean block from Jameer. Jackie Johnson the other way for Fordham. 2:10 to go. Johnson for Dean. He got bumped. Still with it. Ramad Dean driving baseline, a little out of control with it. In the corner for Tripp. His 3 is no good. That was a big shot. Tripp with the offensive board, though. Down low for Dean. Dean hangs high and gets the reverse lay to go. It's a 7-point game. 1:53 to go second half. Fordham back in their full court pressure. Shulga for Russell. And now Shulga can cross the timeline. 1:45 to go second half. 7-point VCU lead. Shulga, 15 on the shot clock. Competing against Tripp. Shulga trying to step back. It's a foul on Tripp, and he's out of the game. It's going to be 5 fouls on Jameer Tripp. That's indeed what the call is. Yep, 1:32 to go in the second half. 66-59 VCU. Jameer Tripp has fouled out of the game.
Yeah, just that's not the play you want to see out of Jameer Tripp. Oh, they're going for the review. And it just seems like there's a lot of cohesion defensively right now for the Rams. You love to see the stops that they're getting. Rare, again, you got to get those boards. Offensively, you got to come up with some threes. It's got to be quick and score. And VCU's done a great job of making sure Fordham spends as much time in that backcourt as possible. So it's going to be interesting to see which style wins out.
VCU 9 of 16 from the free throw line in this one. Max Shulga shooting here. But he's not an excellent free throw shooter, around 70%. But today, he's been good from the line, 3 of 4. 1:32 to go. First shot from Shulga is perfect. They get an 8-point VCU lead. Joe Bamisil checks back into the game. Luke Bamboye will come out. Trying to stretch this out to a 9-point lead is Max Shulga. Shulga buries the free throw. 9-point VCU lead, 1:32 to go second half. And VCU still in that full court pressure. Unrelenting, up 9 with 90 seconds to go. Medor able to cross the timeline. For Josh Rivera, top of the key. Handoff, Jackie Johnson. Riley open near side wing. He'll try the 3. Zach Riley, no good. Rebound loose on the baseline. Last touch off VCU, off Bamasil. As the ball went out of bounds on the baseline, Fordham will keep it, 1:15 to go.
It's the shot you have to take there out of Zach Riley. Not the best three-point shooter on this floor, but he was open. I love that shot there out of Auckland.
Dean to inbound underneath. Looking for an option, gets into Rivera. Fordham have to go fast here on offense. Rivera for Jackie Johnson. Maybe it's the time for a Jackie step back. Instead, he'll feed the post for Josh Rivera. Backing down, 1:05 to go. Rivera, tough contested shot is good. And it's 68-61 VCU with 1:02 to go in the second half. Fordham hanging around here. Timeout Fordham. Keith Ergo will talk things over with his squad. So Chaz, yes, a pretty lackluster start to the second half, and on defense, the rebounding hasn't really gotten better as we've gone along, but offensively, they've really improved, and they've hung tough here with VCU to get within 7.
And you love that they're holding VCU to some tougher shots than they had. Again, that after the half, before the under-16 media, has just killed Fordham.
If it's not an 8-0 run, if it's like an 8-4 run, then think about where we are right now. Then we're that much closer. But
Absolutely.
Just those runs where if Fordham does everything wrong and VCU or whoever Fordham's playing does everything right, those huge swings in one way away from the Rams.
It's gonna be one possession game.
Impact.
It's gonna be one possession
Not just on this game, but really on Fordham's season thus far.
This is their closest game of conference play so far, which you like to see versus one of the, VCU voted to win the A-10. You like to see that versus this upper echelon. And as the upper echelon starts crumbling, Dayton down 5
there you go.
to UMass with the last 2:30. Not to get off topic a little bit, we want to focus on this game. Got to see more Jackie Johnson in the offense. Need to see Jaffe Medor come back. Let's hoist up some threes, fellas.
At this point,
Zach Riley's got the good idea.
At this point, I'll take a Jackie 3 from a million feet away. You need those.
The risk reward is huge there.
And he's shown the ability
It's
to
got to
make
be
those.
a 3 here.
Yeah, I think it has to be
It
too.
has to be a 3 here.
68-61 VCU, a minute and 2 seconds to go. VCU to inbound in the backcourt through Philip Russell, Josh Rivera providing the ball pressure. As the noise hushes here at the Siegel Center in this fanless environment. Russell inbounds to Shulga, immediately trapped, but they get it right back to Russell. The other way, Bamasil will slam it home. Way to beat the trap there from VCU. Joe Bamasil with the exclamation point. 9-point VCU lead, 50 seconds to go. Jackie Johnson, top of the key, will look to drive, stripped away from him. Clark the other way. And that will probably just about do it here from the Siegel Center. Josh Rivera fouls with 42.6 to go in the second half. And Chaz, it looks like Fordham are going to fall to 0-3 here in the Atlantic 10.
You never want to say never, obviously, especially being residents of Rose Thrill ourselves, but it's just that one run. And it's the offensive rebounding. If you told me a team won a game where they gave up 23 offensive rebounds, I'd be shocked. So you love to see a team like Fordham even fighting in a situation like this. But yeah, game situations like this, you're not setting yourself up for success.
First free throw is good from Jack Clark to make it a 10-point VCU lead. And for the first time out there tonight, we'll see a freshman on the floor for the Fordham Rams. Ryan Pettis enters the game for Jackie Johnson. Perhaps that's Keith Ergo throwing in the towel. Clark misses the free throw. How about another offensive rebound for Joe Bamasil? Russell has it up high. And that's going to be a whistle and a foul called against Zach Riley. More free throws coming for VCU. That's 24 offensive rebounds. We are keeping track because it's remarkable.
24 O boards. And the thing is, only 23 points, so they're only scoring at a 50% clip off those rebounds. So that means it's not even those little tip-ins a lot that we saw. It's long balls. It's controllable rebounding.
First free throw from Russell is good. Chaz, you think about that St. Louis game, they shot 60% from the field. Bonnies were close to 60% from the field. VCU tonight, just 41% from the field. It's just been the second chance opportunities that have been killer that has got them up to 72 points.
VCU able to win a game hoisting 26 threes and only making 5.
Yeah, VCU have taken 9 more shots than Fordham has.
That first half when it was getting like gritty basketball, it was Fordham getting a good stop on the defensive end, and then on the but it would come after 3 chances. And then Fordham, it would be an immediate attempt at a score and a turnover or a missed shot.
Both free throws good there from Russell. There's 30 seconds to go. Jaffe Medor has it up high for Fordham, down by 12. Zach Riley, far side wing. For Ahmad Dean, right elbow. 22 seconds to go. Riley thinking about a three, leans into one. Wouldn't go off front rim. Ahmad Dean flew in for the rebound, but it's picked up by Clark.
Want to take a little bit of time. That's a selfless play there from Zach Riley. He doesn't care about his shooting percentage, doesn't care about how it's going to affect his season percentage, doesn't care about the optics of him having a miss. He just wants to get his team in the best ability to have the closest margin of victory.
VCU dribble out the clock, and that will do it here from Richmond. Final scores, VCU 73, Fordham 61. Fordham falls to 0-3 in the Atlantic 10, 8-8 overall. It's the first time since the 2019-20 season since Fordham have been 0-3 in the A10. That was Jeff Neubauer's last full year, and that season ended at 2-16 in the A10. Chaz, for Fordham, just, I think, a better effort, definitely, than those first two games against St. Louis and St. Bonaventure, but still so much to work on for Fordham 3 games in.
Silver lining, Keith Ergo said you got to get better every day. And this VCU team, a lot of people came in here. Fordham was a big dog coming into this game. They're coming into the top team in the conference after some terrible games to start conference play, and Fordham showing more fight, but not enough. I mean, 24 offensive rebounds is not a recipe for success.
What a unique game for us to call, Chaz, with no fans in here inside the Siegel Center. We hope the whole situation with the water here in Richmond is quickly sorted out. Final score here from the Siegel Center, it's VCU 73, Fordham 61, and that'll do it here from the Siegel Center. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one post-game report with Grace McCarron.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Well, Fordham drops this one to VCU in Virginia. Final score of 73-61 for the VCU Rams. I'm Grace McCarron, joined by my co-host Lou Orlando to break down this game. Well, VCU went on an 8-0 run to start the second half, really fast out of the gate for them. We still saw, continued from the first half, some Fordham offensive struggles in this one. They couldn't seem to get anything going in the second half. After keeping it close in the first half, they didn't look very strong, but they were only a point down going into halftime. They did not get anything going. They lose this one by 12 to VCU. Now I'm joined by Lou. Lou, what did you see from this one overall?
I mean, it's Fordham struggling in the categories that they should not struggle in. The attitude system that Coach Ergo has really instilled in this group really since that very special 25-8 season during the 2022-23 year. Well, what is attitude? It's the hustle plays. So it's defense, it's fighting for loose balls, and it's rebounding. And it's, Fordham, that's supposed to be their bread and butter. They're supposed to be a great rebounding team. You're not going to win a game if you allow 24 offensive rebounds. And we dug through the stats. That's the most offensive rebounds VCU has had since February 2014. Also came against Fordham. So that kind of stings in a couple of different ways. It's the guys hit on it during the broadcast. It's kind of inexplicable now. The starts to second half, those first 4 minutes from the start of the second half to the under 16 media timeout, just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's a storyline, it's a theme that we as broadcasters have harped on, it feels like every single game, because it's become relevant every single game. I thought Nick brought up a great point. If Fordham doesn't go down an 8-0 hole to start the second half, how much different are the final minutes of this game? Obviously, VCU pulls away, but, I mean, the final minute there, that's Fordham desperation trying to truck up threes. How much different is it if that's a one-score game for the final 3-4 minutes? You're talking about a completely different ballgame. So it really is just frustrating that when it feels like the Rams cleaned something up, they cleaned up a lot in the defensive end, something else gets exaggerated in a really big way today. It's the rebounding.
Yeah, you saw a lot of struggles in a lot of different areas for Fordham tonight. VCU didn't have their best game as well, which makes this one a little bit more of a stinger for the Fordham Rams. They went 5 for 26 from beyond the arc, VCU did. What would you say? This is the closest game that Fordham has had of conference play so far. They're 0-3 in conference play, dropping tonight's game alongside the losses to St. Louis and St. Bonaventure earlier this year. Does that play a role, do you think, in anything? Does that maybe give them a tiny bit of confidence, even with the loss, that at least they kept it close? What do you think?
I'm really not sure what it does for the locker room. I know Coach Ergo believes in this team. I know that's going to be the message after every game. And listen, it really still is early. You're not going to get a sense of who anyone is in the A-10 yet. As we're talking right now, Dayton's down by 2 to UMass with 16 seconds left. Dayton at one point was ranked top 25 in the nation. Right. UMass is the all-consensus worst team in the A-10, and they've been the worst team in the A-10 so far. So, I mean, it's so tough to figure out anything in the A-10. I really don't think you get a sense about what this Fordham team is until the fans come back for the spring semester and you see Fordham get to play in the Rose Hill Gym with a home crowd in meaningful A-10 games. I do think it does matter that there was improvement from the first 2 games of the season into this one where, I mean, the guys are absolutely right. VCU is the A-10 preseason favorites. They're going to be, I think, a top 3 team in the A-10 when it's all said and done. So you battled against them. You were down 1 at halftime, and despite a bad start to the second half, you make things interesting in the second half. That's all good stuff. Unfortunately, this is not a Fordham team that you can really play moral victories with at the moment. They're 0-3 in conference play. It's their worst start since Neubauer. Neubauer got fired. The Neubauer era was not a golden era of Fordham basketball, so that's not who you want to be compared to in the grand scheme of things.
All right, well, we're going to look ahead for the rest of the Fordham schedule here. This Saturday, they visit Davidson in North Carolina, 2 p.m., and then they come back home next week, Wednesday. UMass comes to town. You were just saying, Lou, that UMass is pretty much at the bottom of the A-10. In my opinion, you can agree or disagree, but this looks like, to me, this UMass game at home, when everybody's going to be back on campus, you think there's going to be fans in the stands, hopefully. That, to me, looks like a must-win game. Would you say so?
100%.
Yeah.
That is 100% a must-win. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. I'm still waiting for the update here. UMass is still up over Dayton. So all of a sudden, that game, which I think a lot of Fordham fans have circled as, finally, Fordham's definitely going to get a win. I'm not sure that's the case anymore, but that is home crowd, Rose Hill Gym, 100 years celebration. That place should be packed. Chaz keeps telling me athletics is reaching out. They're trying to get a crew together. They're trying to facilitate the resurgence of Rose Thrill. It's definitely in their best interest to do that. That is absolutely a must-win. If you start conference play 0-5, you lose to UMass. It doesn't matter what Coach Ergo says in that locker room. I think that locker room's going to lose a lot of confidence. I wouldn't necessarily underrate this Davidson game coming up on Saturday. Yeah. Fordham just showed improvements. All right, let's see if you can take meaningful strides here against a 10-win Davidson team. But, there is some good to come from this game. Matt Zona, 14 points. That's someone that had been a big part of their winning streak, but maybe a little bit more inconsistent in recent weeks. Jaffe Medor, 19 points. He's a guy that I know he's kind of fallen back into more of a facilitator role. If he can get going, Jaffe Medor is a really electric scorer. And by the way, UMass holds on. They beat Dayton 76-72. That is as big of an upset as you're going to get in the A-10. For Jackie Johnson to go under double-digit points for the first time this season, wrong game to do that, I think, against VCU, against that team. But, perfect world where Jackie's scoring at the elite rate that he has been, and Medor takes that step offensively, and Tripp can get back to where he is. This is a team that you can buy into and can believe in, but understandably, there's not necessarily the confidence that all those pieces are going to come together when you look at the way they've played to start the year.
Well, they've got a few, I'm looking at the schedule for the coming month or so, they've got a tough few A-10 matchups here. They played St. Bonaventure last before tonight's matchup against VCU. They got another one of those in February. They have a battle in Richmond against the Spiders February 15th. There's a lot of tough teams in the A-10. That's definitely what was said before the start of conference play. It's going to be tough for Fordham, but it is still early. I feel like we're talking a lot generally and it's only been
People
3
are
games.
definitely hitting the panic button.
Yes.
And whether or
And
not
I
that's
don't-
fair, it's probably,
Right.
it's still, it's so early. That special season, 25-8, they started 1-3 in conference. They got blown out by Dayton. They got blown out by URI. People were saying, oh, they got fat in the easy non-con schedule. They're not really legit. As soon as Rose Thrill really came about, that team went on an unparalleled run. So it's 3 games into a massive conference slate. At the same time, you can't turn a blind eye to glaring red flags that need to get corrected if you are going to compete in an A10 that's getting better and better by the year.
Well, we will be with you next time in Davidson on Saturday at 2 o'clock as the Fordham men's basketball team visits North Carolina. And then next week they return home to Rose Hill next Wednesday to play the UMass Minutemen. But that is going to do it for our game tonight, our broadcast tonight. Thank you to my co-host Lou Orlando on updates, producer, etc. He wears a lot of hats. And we also had Nick Guzman and Chaz McAdams on the call for you tonight. I'm Grace McCarran. Fordham men's basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.
Since you took your love away, since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see whoever I choose. Eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant. Oh yeah, but nothing could take away this blues. Oh, nothing compares to you. Oh, baby. It's been so lonely without you here. I'm like a bird without a song. Nothing can stop this lonely rain.